Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And it's a new adventure. You guys see StreamYard on the screen, a different color palette. Well, there's a reason why. I'm going to talk about that. But first, we got to get into crypto is on fire this week. Stocks are on fire. They just keep rising. Passive income will be necessary going forward for your sake of your life. Don't miss it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday Night live stream where only members with the icon can be in the chat room. Stop struggling now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. 2 tonight. And why do we have a new screen up tonight? Well, I just got to be candid about this. This happens rarely in business environments. So all of a sudden, I receive nothing from StreamYard. And then I go in to find out what's going on. They're trying to charge me nearly twice as much than what I've been charged over the last, 4 or 5 years. I said, hold on now, just a second. Since when do you just try to charge people's cards for nearly double what you've been charging without any notification? I still haven't received any responses. So I have a principle in life. When somebody does that after you've been a customer, then I can't be a customer of yours no more. So tonight, I did not re-up. So therefore, I don't have my logos, our logos. I don't have anything else down below. It's just this free variety. So on Friday, so far I've been looking around. It looks like I might be going over to eMux, a different platform. I'll give somebody else a try since now I have to pay more money. Then I might as well just look around and see what's going on out here. And then I find out there's some other platforms that I can use for the live streams. This is how we do business. This is how Comcast also lost my business as well. So I can never do business with Comcast, and I will never do business with StreamYard. StreamYard has new owners. All right? So make sure you guys share the video. This is what happens when new owners buy a business, and then they're trying to extract or figure out how to extract extra revenues, extra profits. This is just what happened when these ETFs like the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, JP Morgans, all these guys who help companies buy apartment buildings, who does creative financing for them, who give them a line of credit to buy 20, 200 homes, so then they can do rent-to-own homes. Then they can charge people as much as they want. And then all of a sudden, in the case of apartments, you get something like, yeah, your rent used to be $1,200. Now we want $1,500. Crazy stuff like this happens. But as a capitalist society, you can go look around for something else. So I'm looking around for something else over the next 2 days. Right now, Restream was one of them. eMux is one of them. There's several. OneStream, there's a few, but I want something easy, similar, and so far, eMux is at the top of my list. EMUX. You'll see their logo on Friday, and I'll see how that goes, and you guys will see how it goes as well. Now, let me do one other thing before we get started because I got to check on something. Okay, we're good. Now, make sure you, again, smash that like button, share the videos, let other people know what's going on. You see that chat room down there, ladies and gentlemen? You don't want to miss our SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum. Last night, I was in Lesko's back office. That's right. Matthew Lesko, the guy that gives grants, they have a club, and you can see that down below. And they started talking, a girl that was the moderator started talking about, hey, I bought land in Colorado basically in places that is just bare land. And yes, it's cheap because no credit check, no qualifying. It's similar to what we talk about, discount lots. So SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum, we go there so you can learn about no credit check, no qualifying, buying property because it's pre-construction. What can I tell you? Get the right price now, so then when it's built 2 to 3 years later, you have equity built in and the price is risen, and therefore you win. Selling it or doing whatever else you want. Live in it, short-term rentals, long-term rentals, whatever you want to do. But the fact of the matter is, December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is when we go see our team, so to speak. First day, December 2nd, we go see lawyers, which also could count as tax accountants as well. Because get your questions asked. If you have questions, you want to start a business. Okay, get your question asked. You want to find out anything. Residency, get your questions asked. Anything you want does not cost additional when we're on the island. Everything is included. How much would it cost if you're sitting around with the lawyer? You won't get that because you're not going to sit around with the lawyer for an hour, hour and a half answering questions without you being charged. Well, since you're part of the SSN Nation team and coming, you're not going to be charged when you're there. You get to ask questions just like if you're a client. If you're me, that's what I'm trying to say. By extension, you guys get to sit in a room. I'll be there too, of course. And I learn something new every time we go because laws change. Taxation changes. They have to be up on it because they have multiple clients and they do their taxes, they do their businesses, they have to change up so they have the pulse of it. We don't have the pulse of it. We're over here. So that's why the first day we handle legal first, because after you know legal, then you can make plans. Then you can say, I wanted to start a business. Now I know what I need to do. I might want to buy real estate. Now I know what kind of contracts I should have and look for. I need to negotiate. Now, all of a sudden, residency. I want to live there. What do I need to become a resident? Well, you can learn all of this. If it's an hour, good. If it's an hour and a half, good. If it's 2 hours, good. We've been there 2.5 hours is the longest time at any of one of the 3 events. 2.5 hours. Crazy, but awesome. All right? Now, you're under no obligation to hire them or use them. It's just included on this day. After that, you're going to have to be on your own. Next, day 2, December 3rd, we go around to certain locations. So we will be going over to VistaCon. I can tell you that already. That's because that is one of the most formidable places that is being built because of all the amenities. If you're going to live somewhere or buy for rentals, you want to be in a place that has amenities. I'll give you some in case you're not familiar with VistaCana in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Try 2 saltwater man-made beaches. That's right. They both are going to have, by the man-made beach, the first one's already made. They already have Yak Lounge there. They already have, starts with the V. I want to say Voltaire, but that's not. Volare restaurant at the beach club. They already have the pool that's, I would guess, 20 yards by about 25 yards by about 20 yards wide. That's right, a massive pool that you can lounge at. All this is included when you own inside VistaCana. There's no additional charge. There's a aerobic center with bicycles, treadmills that you can ride. That's also at the beach club, VistaCana Beach Club. There's a kid pool. There's a slide. There's a kid playground area. There's an event center there. There's islands. Yes, you heard me correctly. There are even little islands that they have, like on one, it's called the Fishing Club, that actually has its little bar, and you can cook up on there, and you can take a little boat over, and that's on the freshwater lake. That's right. There's a freshwater lake as well. Wow. And that's just for starters. How about a 9-hole executive golf course that has lights so you can play at night? Yeah, you have to pay for that, though. How about a sports complex that's going to be built? Not built yet. The golf course has been built. The sports complex. How about a soccer field with stands? How about basketball courts? Another swimming pool there. How about a skate park? How about tennis courts? How about paddle courts? How about tennis lessons? How about the inevitable? A baseball field. And can you believe it? Sports bar in Delhi with locker room and fitness center over there as well. And guess how much it cost you? $0. You live there. Congratulations. What's that worth? Then you say, Eric, there can't be no more. Yeah, how about that second beach club? That's right. Then you're going to say, Eric, that has to be it. No, how about horseback riding? Yes, at Sabana. There are actually stables. You want horses, you can put them there. And it does cost for horseback riding. Equestrian lessons, that can go on there. So again, Ashton Schools, K through 12, inside Vistacana. Commercial zone, you want snacks, mini mart, things like that, you win. You come into the entrance of Vistacana, guess what? There's going to be a shopping center up front. Now, from the gate, security gate to get into Vistacana and where you might live, like at Panorama Luxury, if you had to walk, I would guess it would take you 10 minutes. Because I'm thinking from the man-made beach to the front is got to be maybe a 3/4 of a mile. So it might be 5 to 10 minute walk. If you ride a bike, have a golf cart, well, a matter of 3-4 minutes. It's not going to be that far. But the point I'm trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, the banking is up front as well, across the street from the soon-to-be outdoor mall area. And you have a bank, Banco del Oro. And that's why before you come, like Joe Nay, he's in the house tonight. He's coming. Before you come, you want to do your banking, then you need to get in touch with, if you have Johan Confidante, I highly suggest you get in touch with him. Gresha is going to get your information. So when you get there in December, you'll be all qualified. It takes 5 hours to get banking done. So that way they can call you and get your accounts open, because you want to have a reputation with the bank. So if you need funding or finance, they know what you're doing, because you're actually making payments on your properties or you're doing some sort of business, so you have a track record. That's for starters. Third day, speaking of banks, you need to know what's going on with lending. That's why we're going to have bankers, the loan guys, come in and tell you exactly, because people got shocked last time when he said 12.5, 13.5 adjustable rate loans. We were like, what? At least I was. I was like, excuse me, what did you just say 13.5% adjustable rate loan? Then he said something even more shocking. Sometimes, depending on the loan, the adjustable rate could be every month. I'm like, who? What? And oh, by the way, your first year, it could be 8.5% or 8% if you have a USD account. And it'll only be fixed for either 1 year or 5 year. After that, you're going to have double digits. 12.5, 13.5, 14% adjustable rate. I'm like, oh my God, you need to get your place paid off as quick as possible. So that's why you have to buy things that are more profitable than ever. You just can't go out there and go, yeah, I'll spend $500,000 on something and think you're going to make money. That's not how this works. And we got a lot more to talk about tonight, or check out some videos I'm about to drop tomorrow. They're going to be significant. Tomorrow, Larry, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream with that icon next to your name, which I humbly appreciate. I'll be there December 2nd through the 4th. That's right, tomorrow, Larry. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in person. And who else is joining us? Joe Nay. He'll be there as well. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream with that icon next to your name, which I greatly appreciate as well. And he says, what's good, SSN Nation? Hope everybody is doing well on this members only Wednesday night live stream. That is correct. Everybody can watch, but only members can be in the chat room. Only members can join me on screen. If you're a member and you're going, hey, I want to join them on screen, but I don't want to show my face, then just turn off your camera. Then we'll just hear your voice. But the point is, it's under the community tab right here on YouTube. That's the only place you can get the link to join us live tonight on screen. Otherwise, chat room works fine. All right. Now, we have our own Professor Antival Beachfront Java. Go check it out. And the promo code is SSN Lifestyle. Why? It's getting cold. It's getting rainy. It's getting chilly. And you need some coffee and special tea. And it's premium blend coffee. Go over there. Use promo code SSN Lifestyle, all caps. Why? Because after your first order, you receive discounts for life. All right, Joe Nay, I got the notification, saw the trailer, and guess what? He done one piece and smashed that like button. I love it, man. Thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciated. And I'm very, very happy that you're in the house tonight as well, Joe Nay. Now, I have some special news to announce. Speaking of VistaCon, we're going to go to other places too, but I just want to let people know you got to see it to believe it, because these little clips that they show, that's nothing. When you're there and you realize you could actually live there, and this is part of your life, this is part of your friends when they come over, and you don't have to pay extra, and you have all these amenities that people can just go to, similar to in American neighborhoods. I'll put it this way. If you live in a middle class to upper middle class neighborhood, you want to know what the differences are? The differences are the open spaces, the parks, the barbecue area in the parks, the basketball courts, the tennis courts. It's things like that that makes your children and yourself and your friends and family, when they come visit, that adds to your life experiences, right? Instead of just having a basketball court and that's it, right? That's what I'm referring to. There's a quality of life when there's parks, where there's open spaces, where there's green grass, where you can ride your bikes, ride your scooters, whatever, golf carts, whatever you do. That's a different life. And if you can get something for like $125, $150, $175,000, I call that a win, no matter where you live on this planet, right? And especially if somebody says no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry, I'm like, what are you waiting for? Damn near. But again, we have our SSN Nation requirements. Again, you have to be able to rent for 0.1% of your purchase price. Without doing that, you will be in jeopardy of going down under. Why buy something if all you're going to get is 5% return on your money? Some people might say I might get 5% the first year. I would argue I would not take that risk that after you do something and prices go up, that all of a sudden, but see, when prices go up, that also could mean your HOA goes up. That could also mean if you have a mortgage, all of a sudden that adjustable rate, because of inflation, it goes up. Next thing you know, you might have to pay $200, $300 more per month. Insurance could go up. And so you don't know. So why put yourself in that situation? You want to be able to do double digits. You want to say, okay, even worst case scenario, even if I can only rent for 40% of the time out of 365 days, and I can go on Airbnb, VRBO, and I can do some research, then I still have to make sure that these are the real numbers, right? Airbnb tick statistics, right? Airbnb statistics. How do I know it's 41%? In La Altagracia, which is where Punta Cana and Cap Cana and Verón and all these places, Bavaroga, Los Corrales, El Cordecito, they're all in Los Altagracia province. In that province, everybody does 41% in the whole province. And what should scare you is this. The top two spots for rentals, for condos, townhomes, villas, but specifically studios and one bedrooms, 71% rentals are in Los Corrales, El Cordecito area, 71% occupancy rate during the year, and 69% is the one bedroom units. Now, everybody else, after you leave that Bavaro area, You notice the average is 41%. So that means somebody else is doing 20%, 30%, 15%. So that's what you have to be leery about. So when you just buy stuff anywhere, you have to be understanding. You need amenities wherever you live. And gated is all the better. And multiple gated is even better. You live in a project like Panorama Luxury, Panorama Lake, Panorama Garden, Wave, where you have to get into Vistacana through a security gate. But then to get into the project, another security gate and more security. That's kind of cool, right? And if you can get the right price, which we have over 60 people who purchased in Dominican Republic, not in just Vistacana, but 60 people here have purchased in the DR pre-construction. They're going to reap the rewards because the prices have to cost more because building costs more than it did 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. So now everybody else has to pay a higher price. So the lower prices that make sense are dwindling. All right. But December 3rd, we're going to be at a spot that you guys might like because the lower prices are still in effect. That's right. So you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to go see a presentation and it's going to be awesome. So be prepared for that. And that's what we do on December 3rd at the SSN Lifestyle on a Wednesday. On a Thursday, we have not lawyers, but the bankers. So then you can understand what's going on with banking. And then Wednesday night, December 5th, we have a tradition. You're going to be on camera if you want. We always do the Wednesday night live stream live in Punta Cana. That's right. And I give you guys the mic. I do the intro, of course, but then I introduce you. Then you guys can have the mic on Wednesday night and talk about whatever you want to talk about. Most of the time, people want to know, how's it going out there? What'd you guys do? But, hey, open mic night on Wednesday night live stream, December 5th. 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Sorry, December 4th. That's when Wednesday night at 8:50 p.m. DR time. They roll back the time. Damn it. So they're 1 hour ahead of us right now. Instead of it being 8:50 p.m., it'll be 9:50 p.m. Oh, well, hopefully somebody stays up late besides me. All right. But that's how it's going to go. So make sure you stay 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So you want to arrive the 1st because we get things underway around 10 a.m. or 8 a.m. in the morning or 7 a.m. in the morning on Monday. But Sunday probably be a good day and departing anywhere the 5th or later. So where should you stay? Los Corrales. Highly recommended. Go over to ssnlifestyle.com to register, or you can go to stopstrugglingnow.com and register for the SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum. I look forward to seeing many, many people there. Now, let's get into it some more tonight, shall we? Now, after my new move, from StreamYard. If anybody has any recommendations for live stream, there's one that I liked, but the software, but it's only for Mac. It was like right on time too. I was disappointed. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I was sorely disappointed when I found out only Macs. I'm like, no, not Mac. I want to do something else. But I can't. So it looks like Emux is going to win. If anybody has any other suggestions, please let me know. All right. Now, let's get down to business because everybody wants to know, what do you do? I'm going to do a little early promo, SSN Lifestyle, just to give somebody a little love here. Let's go with, I can't remember. Let's go with this one. Come on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. What is money for? Go have some fun, but you're going to have some crypto, maybe, or stocks, maybe, or real estate, or online business, or other passive incomes because you bought a business. Either way, you can't sit idly by. You're working your behinds off. You're working hard. You need to make some extra money coming in the door somehow. It's very hard to some people, very easy for others. But the online thing with TikTok, Instagram, and other things, if you love being in front of a camera or not, because they have AI now, you can potentially make additional streams of revenue that way. So that's what we have to talk about a little bit tonight. So we're going to go check out, of course, we want you to win. So we have to go look at, I just go to CNBC. It just makes it easy. All right. It just makes it a little bit easier for us. And or does it? Hold on a second. Let me go move some things around. Okay. That's interesting. Picture-in-picture layout. Shift 7. Well, guess I can't. Hold on a second. Oh, so we will do something else. There's the tab for me, but it's not coming up. All right. Anyhow, here's what I want to talk about tonight is a few things. There's a lot of things going on with the markets. And if you're not in it, you can't win it. And AMD, which is like NVIDIA, all right. Welcome back. Thank you for waiting. Well, this looks like we're going to have another problem, but we're about to end all this because, like I said, we're going to be going to a different platform and we'll see how that goes. Speaking of different platforms, we have our man, Mr. Dividend, in the house right now. Brian P. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream with that icon next to your name, which I humbly appreciate. And he says his tagline, hello, Eric. I hope all is well with you. Yes, it is, man. Look it up. Hello, SSN family. I got the notification and I saw the trailer. Smash that like button for the trifecta. I love it. Thank you, man. Greatly appreciated for that. Very nice to see you. Mr. Dividend is a Yield Max ETF. That's right. Listen to me. Get your pen, pad, and paper, please. YieldMaxETFs.com. Go over there, look at the distribution, go study. They do option income trading. When the stock market's on fire, more people are doing options and puts. So that means some cash money's coming out of those trades. And these guys disperse a lot of that money in the form of dividends. Why Max?
by themselves disperse dividends every Friday. Can you imagine reinvesting every week the dividends? It starts being like an parabolic upward trend if you can get a high rate of return. What is a high rate of return? Well, you tell me. What's a high rate of return? Is it 9%? So you want to buy a JEPI ETF, JEPI, JEPQ? Is it 7.7% like ET? That's energy transfer, ET, 7.7% return? Or is it 15, 16, 17% return like an ORC, AGNC? Is that what we're talking about here? PSEC. Oh, I know. You can always hit rewind. Is that what you're talking about? All those are dividend returns right now. But is high risk 24%, 23%, 25% like an IEP, a Carl Icahn company? I is in India, E is in Eric, P is in Paul. Or do you want something 40%, 50%, 60%? How about a distribution on YieldMax ETFs of 100%? Now, you might eat something as far as stock price going down, but this is why you stay with the hot stocks, like a Tesla, like a NVIDIA. Yes, they have those too, based on the options, calls and puts, and other things that are happening with those shares. That's where they make their money. Again, I consider high risk, high rewards once you get over like 12%, 15%. Once you start talking 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100%, like coin, COIN at YieldMax ETFs, you have to study, you have to go see it. Hey, is it worth it where I might lose the stock price of 30 or 40%, but I'm still going to get 100% return on my money? Some people would say, hell yeah, I'll do that all day, every day, especially since I can reinvest it. I'll lose 30% appreciation on the stock, but is it going to be worth it depending on the amount of shares you're going to buy, right? So the question is, if the share price is $20 a share and you have 1,000 shares, that would be $20,000 you put in, but the distribution is going to give you $20,000 back. Now the question remains, if it goes from $20 a share to $10 a share, which is half your share price, so you have $10,000, but you got back $20,000, then I guess you're at a 50% profit. I think a lot of people would go for that. Just saying. And that's why you have to study. That's why we tell you to do your own due diligence. This is why we tell you to make sure you understand different markets. What's wrong with looking? Why be shy? Hey, lost your connection. Yes, exactly, man. Again, we're going to find out if it's my computer doing this once we move to eMux. I think eMux is probably number one. Victor Marrero, where are you, Mr. Worldwide Club? Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he has that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. Another investors in the house. Hello, all, is his tagline. Let's do this. And are we still from the PR? That's what I want to know, because I'm waiting on that drone footage. I'm waiting on that Mr. Worldwide footage. We all are anxiously waiting while you're out there going around. You might as well make some content. I know, man. I know. Why not? Have a little fun. Very happy to see you, man. Hopefully your safe travels has started and it's still going well. Brian P., we are making money in here. You're damn right. That's what we have to do up in here, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta make it. Coney is paying $2 per share on Friday. See, this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the funny part. I'm using it as an example. Those 1,000 shares. And you bought something for, let's say they were $20. That would have been $20,000. And in 1 month, you're going to get over $2,000, which a lot of people would take that because that's 10%. Some people would close up shop. They'll be like, hell, 10%. I love that. Less than a month. and I can get all of my money back plus that 22 grand. Okay, 10%. But what if the whole year you get back 100%, 20,000 in dividends, which also means when you got $2,000 plus in dividends and you reinvest and the stock price went down to $19, let's say, now you're buying another set of stocks, another 100 shares of stock, right? So you have another 100 shares. The following month, instead of just having 1,000 shares, you have 1,100 shares. And what if it's, let's just say $1? So the next month, it's 1,100. Now you've gotten more than $3,200 or $3,150, let's say, is what you've collected so far out of 2 months. Most people would be happy. They'd be ecstatic. They'd be like, are you kidding me right now? This is like 15% on my money. That's why you have to look at yield max ETFs, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, by the way, I keep forgetting because here it is, Brian P., Mr. Dividend, ULTY, 83 cents for this Friday. Here it is. Brian Victor Morrell says Coney is paying over $2 dividends this Friday on fire. Exactly. Because that is Coinbase. Coinbase, they're doing the same thing. Transactions, they make money. When crypto's busting out like it's doing now, they're making a whole bunch of money. Brian, yes, sir. I got more Coney, ULTY, and NVDY today. There you go. Picked up 240 more. Look at this, man. These guys are doing steroids approach. They're like, hey, forget that. I forget to reinvest. I'm going to buy some more. Keep it going. Because the sooner you get in and it keeps rising, the more profits you can get out. A lot of people, if you can invest $15,000 and get back $15,000 and have $30,000 at the end of the year. Where else can you get that? Not many places. All right. But you have to go study. All right. Just make sure. I did have till today. Wow. Awesome. Yes, I am still in Puerto Rico. We'll return to Florida 24th of November. Do some laundry and head out again. Just living the retired life like you. Victor Herrero. He's trying to get his wings, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting that Mr. Worldwide. He has half of his wings because he's already traveled to Spain and EU zone. Now he's saying, not only that, Eric, I'm going to Asia too. He's joining the full Mr. Worldwide tour. Unbelievable eventually. So that means you have to have some passive income. You have to have pensions. You have to have dividends. You have to have some money coming in while you're traveling. Because you spend a lot of money without realizing travel. I'll tell you what, seriously. All right. You know what's really cool is when you can actually just hop around the world without having to do much because you know you have extra streams of revenue coming in. That is the best feeling of all, that you can actually leave. And like right now, you know, dividends are coming in like this Friday. You know, dividends are coming in the next 2 weeks. So, you know, your everything you worked for before, your short-term rental money's coming in. You don't have to be there and manage it. That is the best feeling in the world, where you could be anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, and not really have to pay attention that much, because you go, okay, I know how much it's going to cost me to go to the Philippines or Thailand or Vietnam or wherever you want to go in Asia, right? And so, you know, when you're there, you're like, okay, I spent like 5 G's or whatever. But then when you're there, you're like, yeah, but I'm having another check come next week. I mean, it's not like you're just like, okay, I'm out here having fun, but I don't have to work. So checks are coming. And that replaces what I'm spending. So it actually makes it kind of fun. And you don't have to worry about when you return. Like I said, I always try to do one ways if the country allows me to. And I just stay there until I'm ready to go. So I'm about to be retired in 2 years, or am I? Because then I'll be on Mr. Worldwide Tour. So does that mean I should still be doing some live streams every now and then? I just thought about that the other day, especially when Victor Morrell showed up talking about he's in PR. I was like, wait a minute, that's where I'm going to be going. So I guess I won't be shutting this down 100%. That means I might be doing something every now and then just to show people on the Mr. Worldwide Tour. But that's about it. All right. Let's see what else we got going on. I think we went to the end. But all right, let's get back to Yes, he's still there. So tell me something, man. So I was just thinking about something. Have you been to Arecibo Beach? I don't know what it's called. I think it's I always called it Arecibo. I was thinking about this after I talked to you. I was like, damn, I forgot to ask him if he went to Arecibo at the beach because they have these little waves. That always fascinated me how we have this big ass ocean and the waves when they come up are like 4 or 5 inches high, max. Oh man, it's off the charts. Actually, it's nice and cool. It's serene. It's beautiful. All right, let's get back into it, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Because stocks keep rising, crypto's on fire, and if you're going to play with crypto, we talked about it a year and a half to 2 years ago when we said BTC and ETH. Sure, you can win with some of these altcoins because they rise 1,000%, but somebody's going to get burnt and holding the bag. But we were always saying because ETFs are going to be approved by the government, that's going to allow them to buy BTC and Ethereum. So therefore, it made sense. Now there's a run. This run was going to happen sooner or later. So people had plenty of time to get in, right? So that's a good thing. Stock market is the same way. You had plenty of time to get in before this run started over the last 7 to 10 days. So there's no excuse for anybody here in the SSN Nation unless you just showed up. And if you just showed up, well, we gave you a little bit of taste of what we're talking about with those dividend funds. That's what you should be thinking about right now. Why do I feel that way? Is because you don't know what the future holds. There's going to be a disruption because for 4 years, we were doing one different path. Now that we have a new president, they have a whole different idea on what you do with an economy. So that means the two are going to collide and something has to happen. Whether it's going to be good or whether it's going to be bad, something is going to happen. And let's just say on Monday, I went over why I believe things aren't going to be that good when we talk 2.5 years from now, when I'm about to retire from the YouTube sphere. By that time, things would have already played out and it's going to be mayhem. So that's what I feel. Other people may not feel the same way, but this is why I'm extolling everybody to say, hey, let me invest in something right now. Because there's one thing for sure. The stock market is going to be on fire. Crypto is going to be on fire for the next 2 years, 2.5 years, actually, because we haven't had legislation yet. So those tax cut, tax breaks, and interest rates reduction by the Federal Reserve, that's fire. You're putting it on steroids, similar to 2017. Steroids. But at the backside of the steroids is the same thing that Dominican Republic is going to be going through. Same thing. If you keep building a deficit by not paying the taxes and by the wealthy, like they should, then that means you're going to have deficits with Medicare. You're going to have deficits with Social Security, pension funds. It's going to be at stake. And after the fact, all right, you may not even, the healthcare situation is not going to be resolved potentially. It's not only getting a check every week, but it's the fact that you save more money overseas. Exactly. You aren't getting jammed up with USA prices. We save money outside the USA, even eating out daily. He says it exactly right. That's one of the factors that I completely forget outside the United States. We're sitting around, look, we get when American country, and if you stay outside of the United States for like a week, just a week, and you're actually actively going out to eat and you're going shopping for little knick-knacky stuff, like, you might want a soda, you might want, little snacks off the shelf and chips or whatever, right? You see the prices are significantly different and it tastes different. Well, that's a whole nother story, but you start seeing things. You're like for instance, me, I like tortilla chips, right? So here in America, I like to get Mission or I like to get Tostito because they're gluten-free. And so I get those these bags could be $4.99, $5.99. Then I'm outside the country and the bags are like, does this thing really say $2.50 for the same bag? I'm like, what the? And it's from the United States corporation that makes it. It's not a knockoff. It's the actual same company, but they're shipping it overseas, charging half the damn price. I mean, it's just simple stuff like that. The only thing that costs more generally is if you're on an island, meat is a problem because, you know, you can only have so much of that. But the fish ain't a problem. I mean, seriously, right? So this is the thing. It's like you go there, you can go to a steakhouse, and in America, well, let's just call it the sky's the limit. I can be in Vegas at a steakhouse. I can be in Sacramento in a steakhouse. I can be in Georgia in a steakhouse. I can be anywhere on this planet in a major city in a steakhouse, and these dudes are about to jack me. We're going to be talking about my bill's going to be $250 to $350 minimum. And I'm talking about not a group of people. I'm talking about like two people. Why? Because they say, oh, you want to get that nice little filet mignon or steak. So now I'm paying 60, 70, 50, 60, 70, 75, depending per person. That's already $150. Then I say, hey, you know what? I want some champagne, or not champagne, but bottle of wine. Next thing you know, the guy opens up the menu and says, hey, glass of wine. You want a glass of wine? Well, that's going to be like 15 to 20 bucks. I'm like, well, then how much is a bottle? They're like, oh, the bottle's like 50 bucks. I'm like, then just bring me the bottle then. It's the equivalent of a damn, why get two glasses for 30 when I can get a bottle for 50? It doesn't make any sense. So we're already into damn near 200 before we even got appetizers. This is how crazy, and we haven't even gotten dessert yet. So you're easily into the threes, easily, just on two people. So if we go outside the country, it'll cost, like in PR it costs, in DR it costs, but we're not going to be like at 300 or 250. We're not even going to be nowhere near there. I'll get me some nice steak if I don't eat steak that often, but I'll get me some steak, two people, some drinks, whatever. Yeah, okay, it'll be 175 or something, but it damn sure ain't going to be no 350. Those are the things that happen that you notice when you go to another country. And if you go to like Asian countries, it's even crazier because these guys are saying things like $2 this, $3 that. And you're like, what? I can eat all day for $10, $12, $15. It's crazy. All day. It's crazy. Hey, Eric, did you check those emails? Yes, I did. We'll be talking about the Medicare one in here shortly because a lot of people don't understand what's going to happen if you don't have enough revenue and income coming in. That means Medicare, which everybody can receive, a U.S. citizen at 65 years and older, somewhat. All right. No, we haven't been to the northwest of the island yet. Arecibo, we have stayed northeast. However, we plan to go that way next week. All right. All right. I understand. Okay. And by the way, you know what's funny since you're there? You know, back in the day, they used to advertise for tourism, the rainforest. You don't hear anything about the Puerto Rico rainforest anymore. Just like you don't hear about Phosphorescent Bay, the glowing rocks that you can see in the clear boats. And you can see at nighttime, it lights up. They don't even advertise this anymore. They don't even advertise the forts anymore. That used to be part of the tourism. They don't even advertise Bacardi. That used to be part of the run. When you go to Puerto Rico, your friends, they come over, they're just like, hey, we're going to the Bacardi factory, man. Come on. All this stuff that you used to be able to do that used to be tourism, I don't understand. I don't understand at all. It's like they want to keep it hidden. They want to try and keep it like a third world country or something. In fact, there's rivers, there's mountains, there's streams, the rainforest is all cool, just like they shut down that big dish, which used to be another attraction. And I guess it's still shut down. That's crazy. All this stuff is sitting there and they don't even market it. It's crazy. But nonetheless, you're staying in the Northeast. Okay, well then that's a ways away. All right. But hey, what's 2.5 hours? Just say it. If you're going to go on that side, you have to go on that side for a trip. I mean, you know. But here we go. I want to show you guys. Let me see if I can pull this up now. Here you go. That's it, man. That's it. Damn, Eric, you know this place. You're so right. Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Here you go. AMD laid off 4% of workforce, about 1,000 employees in November, before Thanksgiving, before the holidays. Hopefully they have a severance package that pays them 2 months worth of salary. But what is 2 months worth of salary when you don't have a job? What does that really mean? Think about it. This could be you, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, this could be you. So, man, yeah, Victor Morel, man, seriously, what I keep telling everybody, the Delta Dental dashed my dreams when they actually were going to they opened a place in Puerto Rico, and two people were qualified for that job, and they gave it to the other person who had worked there longer than me, but their credentials were below mine. Because we have rankings, it was way, but not even in the top 10. So I'm thinking, yeah, they'll let me go. And I'm young too. I was like 20 something. I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna have a blast. And then sorry, Eric. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? You guys are on my F list right now. You're on my F list for life. Oh man, but yeah, there's so many places, man, that's there. There's like little caves. I mean, there's stuff there that people, they don't even advertise. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's all kind of stuff. It's crazy. Out by San Juan, Victor Moreau, do they still have that flea market outside of San Juan that used to be pretty cool? And they used to have food trucks and things like that, which weren't really food trucks at the time, but similar to that, where people are cooking and eating and doing stuff outside of town, outside of San Juan a little bit. Man, and the place is off the charts. That's all I can say, man. Down the hill by not funding it properly and stealing the money and not giving them the money so they can actually do something with strings attached. It's effed up. And they're U.S. citizens. This is just crazy. No matter which administration is in office, it's kind of like, you know, I can't really say by party, but one party might send over 300 million. Another party might send over 100 million. It's like, that ain't enough. You got to send billions and let the people breathe, instead of putting them in situations where their school situations are messed up because they don't want to give the funding for that. They got infrastructure messed up from earthquakes and hurricanes, and they don't want to give them enough money to fix that up. It's like a stepchild. Man, it makes me mad. I don't even want to get into it. It just makes me irritated. Irritated to no end, man. The place is freaking beautiful. The weather's always on point generally until hurricane season. But it almost like misses half the damn time. But the point is, it's like one of the people are the best when you actually hang there. It is not America. It's nowhere near. You will know your neighbors that live 5 doors down. I'm just saying, you will know your neighbors on your street, and it could go all the way down. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool. People are so freaking cool, man. They're not America. They're not USA. They're Puerto Rican. And that's what I'm get upset about, because you have a people in a country that is so friendly. And here you have the United States taking advantage by not doing any damn thing, letting it fall apart. And I'm just like, man, you guys know what that is? That's like a freaking golden goose that they're just letting it just go to waste. It's incredible. There is, in fact, like I just said, some of the places that you can do, there's not many places that has everything that Puerto Rico has. There's not many countries that have all that people go to. Jamaica, Bahamas, that even people going to Haiti, which is crazy. DR, Virgin Islands, they don't even have everything that Puerto Rico has, and the United States just lets it go to waste. Similar to kind of like the U.S. Virgin Islands, they just ignore them too. But that's a little more richy place. James Wade knows what I'm talking about. So anyhow, back to this at hand. AMD laying off people, as you guys can see. Stocks making big moves after hours, Cisco Systems, CNH Industrial. But again, we're talking about the indexes here. These are all-time record highs. 6,000 for the S&P 500, 44,000 plus for the Dow Jones, and NASDAQ at 21,000. And look here, the US 10 years going up 4.4%. So if somebody wants to take no risk whatsoever, then that's what you buy. You buy a treasury bond if you want 4%. You don't buy real estate above the 0.1% that you can rent it for and then sit there and get like 4% or 5%. You might as why take all that risk? You could have just took your money and put it down into this and gotten your 4.4% every year. By the way, I have some news for everybody coming to the Dominican Republic and may be thinking about investing. I just found out, speaking of Vistacana earlier, Vistacana. Oh, hold on. I better read this properly because there was some rumors about how they were going to manage the situation. And I said, nah, I got to find out directly from Vistacana management what's going on. Let me see what he said. He said, so I asked him this: do owners inside Vistacana have to have a management company for Airbnb, short-term or long-term rentals? He responds, not necessarily. The client can do it on their own if they wish. I was like, I'm rejoicing. So if that's true, because there's developers there that told me that there was going to be a management company and a list of management companies that were going to be approved by Vistacana, and those are the ones you had to pick. And I was like, what do you mean? So then I said, nah, I'm going to go talk to the Vistacana management myself. And that's what they sent me back. He says, no. So next month, I'm going to go see him in person too, just to clarify. But management saying, no, everybody gets to rent it as they want. If you want a management company, you can get one. So I'm liking this so far. I hope they do not change that, but we will see as this goes on, because you want to keep a place that's very nice. You want to keep that up. All right. Let's go down to something else. I wanted to show you guys this. We're going to get into some land as well tonight, because I was on Lesko, Matthew Lesko. If you need grants, there's a link that I put in early in the chat room. You want grants, then go also lescohelp.com. That's how you join their club. You can pay $20 per month, or you can prepay a year in advance or 6 months in advance and get a 50% discount. But because I had Matthew Lesko on, I was very happy that they allowed me in their back office group, because, I like promoting it, right? And findhelp.org, if anybody needs help with a lot of different things, job training, transportation money, grant money for little kibbles and bits, rent money, things like this, go look at this every time we have a live stream. All right. Lesko Helps is different. Lesko Helps is, if you're in the back office, you have to pay to be in the back office. But what I've seen so far, because I've only been in there 2 days, was the fact that there were people asking questions. Like a person said, hey, I want to do a startup. I've already have everything in place. He started explaining. And then people would say, hey, if you want a grant for what you're doing, here's where you go for your state or city where you live. That's where actually people were helping people, no additional cost. I was like impressed. And several people were doing this. Hey, I got a car problem. I can't pay for it. Is there any place that can give me help? And then people are filling it in your state. You can go here and try to get a little grant help of $5,000 or $3,000. I was like, this is cool as hell that you have these type of people that's willing to help people like that. So there may be a value in the monthly cost, or if you pay annually. Like I said, I think 6 months was $60. letsgohelp.com. Also findhelp.org. You don't need to be a part of the Let's Go Help group. You just need to call on the phone the nonprofits, the government agencies, and see if they're going to give you help. And some give you help at no cost. Some give you help at a little fee. But that's why there's several on a list. You have to make the phone call. You have to be proactive. You can't just sit back. Now, what do you see on the screen right here? What you see on the screen is 2025 Medicare Part B premium increase outpaces both Social Security and COLA inflation. See what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen? You don't know. Oh, Behringer Winery. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So seniors will have to pay more again for Medicare Part B next year. That's 2025. It's going up. The standard monthly premium for Medicare Part B enrollees will rise by $10.30. So when you pay $185 and now it's going up $10, that's almost like a 7 to 8% increase. That's above inflation. That is bad, right? The premium was $164.90 in 2023. Now it's $185 in 2025 from $174 this year. This is crazy. This is crazy. The annual deductible for all Medicare B beneficiaries will increase to $257 from $240, and usage increases. 75 from the baby boom era. Baby boomers are in the era where they lived their first half of their life a different way, right? They were like living like going to work, wife at home, and then they started working out as they got a little older, and that became in vogue. But all the bad foods you were eating over that time has a repercussion on your health. And so a lot of people need this. And there's a deductible. Like I said, look at this. It's $257 is going to be your deductible now. After that, of course, you're done. I mean, that's not like a lot, but just think about people who get like $1,500 Social Security, and that's all they can really live on. This $257 deductible is, it's a little bit of money, but it still takes away. So this is why you have to always worry. And then here it is, the jump in 2025 outpaces both inflation. COLA for 2025 will be 2.5%, or an average of $50 per month. So again, this 2.5, it shouldn't be that. It should be like 4 or 5%. But then again, remember, who's paying for this? Taxpayers. You guys already gave you a hint. All right. So just think about this. What's going to happen? Income related monthly adjustment amount affects roughly 8% of people with Medicare. Remember, there's some people that'll be 65 and still making money, right? So then they're going to adjust it, which is backed up as well, because you're actually contributing to Social Security taxes into the Social Security. Look at this, $106,185 per month, ladies and gentlemen. More than 106. I've got, $600, $591.90 per month. You guys seeing this? You seeing this? Now you're understanding why you better have some extra money coming in, and not dealing with Social Security, not dealing with just real estate, you're going to need a package. You need a package. Real estate, stocks, dividends, business ownership. You need a package. And look at this. $334,000 or more will pay $628. $628.90. Look at that. This is crazy right now. Medicare B costs have outpaced COLA for years. Of course it has. Coverage. This is crazy. This is going to get out of hand. You have less people working compared to what previously came. And now what's going to happen? Do you guys know? You guys know? You guys know. Let's go see. Hold on a second here. Victor Morrell put something in here. Yeah, there's some other stuff too. It looks like, yes, they have those food trucks. I love Old San Juan. Those colonial homes next to Oil Morrow Castle are beautiful, but you can't touch them now. You better be loaded. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's special stuff right there. I haven't heard that El Morro Castle in a long time. They don't even promote that. That's what's crazy about this whole tourism thing with Puerto Rico. They're just like, we're just going to bypass them. We don't want nobody going over there, helping give some tourism dollars to the local economy. I'm just like, you got a U.S. island that people can actually just fly to without a passport, and you don't promote it. That ought to tell you all you need to know. In fact, that might be some business things that I might want to do on the island now that I'm thinking about it. I see in my future, I see tourism in my future. I see tourism. Where's them grants for some tourism? That's right. I'm going to start looking this up, because wouldn't it be so cool to live in PR? It's an American situation. And then you get grants that you can help Puerto Ricans over there. And now I can brush up on my real Spanish. Real Spanish. Only a Puerto Rican will know what I'm meaning, because everybody else in Cuba, DR, and all the other Latin countries think they talk the real Spanish. I'm like, nah, man, you guys ain't talking the real Spanish. That ain't how it works. And why you guys talk so slow? Why you guys talk so slow? All right, I have to have a little fun. I have to have a little fun. All right. But Victor Morrell brings up some old great memories. All right, let's keep moving, shall we? Thank you, Brian. This was courtesy of Brian P., who sends me some of these articles, and I like showing them because people don't understand their destination. They think that they're going to get Social Security. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on, man. What's happening? You guys think you're just going to get Social Security. You're going to get a pension possibly, but the pension is not guaranteed. Go ask the Boeing people that just got off a strike. They did not get back their pension money. That pension money's gone. This is what I was telling people 4 or 5 years back. I said, you cannot count on your pension. I'll just put it this way. Steve Mnuchin, one of the most pieces of on the planet. This guy is so sick. He was part of the Sears takeover. There's 4 billionaires, right? They stole the people's pension money because the company was worthless. The pension is what had the money in it. They stole their pension. So they didn't get pension. The Boeing employees will not get their pension either. I don't think they're going to get their pension. There's all these corporations who are holding people's pension money hostage. And now these people are going to work for them for 25, 30 years. And then when they retire, they're not going to get their pension money. That is so cold and so sick. It's ridiculous. So this is why I don't want this for you, ladies and gentlemen. You have to bring in extra streams of revenue along the course of your next, up until you're 60, 65 years old and beyond. You're going to need to make, basically, I will say this, no matter what age you are, you have to be bringing money in, whether it's retirement funds or whether you have to go to work at Walmart or someplace that they're going to accept people that are 60 years old and older. So that's what's so scary about this. A lot of people are just going through life like la-di-da. But what you're not understanding is when you reach a certain point, 55 and over, and you don't have a job and you get laid off from AMD and you might be making like $130,000 a year, The odds of you going to another place at 55 to 60 years old and saying, I want to work here, you know what they're going to look at you like? Oh, great. You have skill. You have this, you have that. But see, their thinking is, if I hire you, it's going to cost me $150,000 a year plus. But if I hire the kid that just came out of college or 2 years removed, they'll take 100,000. We can build them up to 150. So for those years that I can save $40,000 per person or $50,000 per person, that's in our pockets. That's how they relate these days to the workforce. So you're limited. So by the time you're 50 or 60, you have to figure out ways to bring additional revenues in. All right. Just keep that in mind. Brian P. Yes, you are welcome, Eric. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. I look at a lot of things you send me because I just shake my head. I want to point out something else. I'm going to get into some real estate land tonight. I just got great news from California. I will get into that in a second, but this is much more important. And I'm going to have to load this up. Let me get to this in a second. This is much more important because I finally found the mortgage calculator. I'll be making a video about this tomorrow. I finally found it. I was like, man, they took it off. The Google calculator took off the interest only part. So I had to find one that shows the interest because, again, I want to show people again. You know what happened? My daughter, one of my daughters is sitting here going, hey, Dad, I want to get a house. Now, I'm telling her what I'm telling you guys. I'm like, are you sure? I said, hold on a second. Why? Well, because her and her boyfriend, they want to get a house because why? Her boyfriend's two brothers, or brother and sister, sorry, one brother, one sister, they, with their significant other, went to go buy houses in the last year and a half. So just like American citizens, they feel a competition even though there isn't one. It's like the response is, oh, his sister and her brother bought a new house. We just want to get one too. I'm like, you sure? I said, why don't you ask them how much their taxes are every year? Why don't you ask them how much their HOA, if they have them, are every year? And I'm referring to property taxes. Why don't you find out how much their insurance is every year? Just this year. And then I say, well, you know, your insurance is going to go up. You know, your property taxes are going to go up. So your HOA is also going to go up. So even if you can afford at 30% of your debt to income ratio for your mortgage could be $2,500. But are you going to be able to sustain 3 to 5% increases every year just from that? So you're going to have to pay extra out of pocket besides your mortgage, let's say. And now all of a sudden your total number was, okay, over the course of a year, I got to pay an extra 18 grand. Great. But what's going to happen 2 years from now when that 18 grand that you're paying out turns out to be 20? That's the problem when people don't own homes, because you as a parent, you don't sit your kids down and say, hey, you know, when you own a house, you know, when I have to pay these, because they don't see it. Whose parents, let me know if anybody's in the chat room, when you were growing up to 17, 18 years old, is there anybody in the chat room whose parents sat them down and said, hey, you know, this house that you're living in, the tax bill, it's X amount of dollars. And by the way, when you were 5 years old, this was the tax bill. Now that you're 15 years old, 10 years later, look at how much it went up. That's the property tax bill. Here's what the insurance was when you were 5 years old. Here's what the insurance is when you're 15. All this stuff that you don't see and don't pay for, this is the increase. So my wages had to increase just to stay even. And if my wages don't increase more than staying even, then we're losing. See, these are the explanations, right? So I have to talk with my daughter about this. And I tell her all that. And just to say this, you guys can see on the screen right now, this is no joke. Okay. I put something in. The average home price right now is a little under $450,000 in America. All right. So You have to put down 20% if you don't want to have to pay, well, insurance, right? You want to remove insurance and have you pay it yourself. But okay, here we go. This is 30 years. Look at this. And this is at a 6.69 interest rate starting in November. I want you guys to pay attention that everybody goes, oh, I can afford $2,062. We make $75,000, $85,000, $95,000 per year. This is what they're going to give you a mortgage on. They'll say, okay, we'll do 30% of his income. So that means 3 times you got to make $6,000, $6,500 or more without any credit cards. But if you have credit cards, then you have to make like $8,500, $9,000 per month. Household income, $108,000. So you're thinking everything is great. So then what they don't include is this here. After you pay property tax, after you add your HOA, after you add home insurance and other things, your payment is $2,900, not $2,000. It's another $900 per month, which by rights means you should have been making over $10,000 per month. But you can get a loan at your $70K, $75K, $80K, $90K. You should have been making $120. But nonetheless, I digress because, ladies and gentlemen, look over here on the right-hand side. This has been my point all along. $450,000. You live there ever since you're, let's just call it 30 years old, right? 30 years later, you're 60. Not that often that people live in the same house for their full lifespan. But let's just say you do. You actually paid $1,051,000. So 30 years later, wouldn't you say your house better be worth $1,051,000 or more? You paid for it. This is why the banks have the best business in the world, where you're their tenant, given 30-year loans or 15-year loans, because this is more than double. And you shaking your chest out, man, that house I bought for $450, it's worth $1.1 million. I'm putting it up for sale. I get to make like $700,000 or $600,000. But did you really? And over the course of the time that they put in other costs, I said this on Livestream Monday. Over the course of the time, what happened? Your refrigerator went out. Your dishwasher went out. You had to make sure that your AC, your fireplace, if you have one, and your heating elements, you have to have somebody come in and service it every year as advised. Your roof would have had to been replaced in 30 years because most only lasted 15 to 20. Rarely do you get 30 unless you watch my homeowner's materials. You would know that you should have concrete tile roofing that can last 30 to 50 years, most likely in the 50s. But the point is, most people don't have that. They have the shingles. They have the cheaper things that only last 20 to 30 years on. So you're going to have a roof situation, and the roof situation might cost you 60, 70, 100,000 or more in 20 years from now, right? All these things that you fixed, you forget about. You just wash it out of your brain. You're like, I don't remember fixing up the roof. I don't remember any rehab work we did and upgraded over the years. I forget about all that. So that is the whole point that I'm trying to make here, because there's going to be a housing boom and people will be buying homes for more than $450,000, because there are homes more than $450,000, and they don't understand how much they are really paying. Now, I want to show you something else. Look at what happens when you go, hey, I got a 4.9% interest rate. Look what happens. Look at this. Some people would rejoice, but look at this. Look here on the end. Still $1 million paid. Isn't this awesome when you understand what's going on? Yeah, my payment is $1,910 per month. It went down $100. Who cares? That is cool, but you're still going to pay $1 million. So now we go down to 3.9, which is more reasonable after rates some people will be very, very happy with 3.9. Look at this, $938,000. That is still double the 450 out of pocket. So the real question is, and notice the property taxes are 1.2. That's reasonable. This is not reasonable. Home insurance of $1,500. That's not reasonable. Home insurance is going to be well more than $1,500. I don't even know why that's even there. So this actually is going to cost you probably another $2,000 per year, add on 60 grand. So you're probably at least, and who knows over time what the insurance rates are going to be. So there's a person that lives, our granddaughter that lives in Placerville, has a place in Placerville. She said that because it's in the mountains in California, their insurance is $1,500 per month. They're paying $18,000 a year for insurance. That's why they can't sell their house, because when people check out how much the insurance is going to cost, they're telling them they're paying $1,500. I don't know what they're telling the other people. It's probably 18 or 2 G's a month. So how are you supposed to buy a house if your insurance is like $2,000 or $1,800 or $1,700? Hell, if it's $1,500 per month, that's like a hard no. I mean, and these houses, I don't know how much they're selling for, but maybe it's probably $500,000. But imagine having a $3,000 a month note, and then somebody tells you it's $1,500. Now you're paying $4,500 just for your house insurance and your mortgage, nothing else. And now people can't buy the house. People have said they wanted it, but then when they check the insurance guys, all of a sudden, sorry, can't buy it. And this is being very generous at $1,500, because like I said, in Cali, in Placerville, for this one house, it's $1,500 a month, not a year, a month. And in fact, I know places in Florida you can't get this either, no $1,500. In other places of Cali, you can't get insurance for $1,500 nowhere. This is pre-2020 is when you could, your insurance, my insurance for a $700,000, $800,000 house was a freaking only $1,000. All right. That's how much it's like when they tell me these numbers, $1,000 for the year, not a month, for the year, $100. It wasn't even $1,200. It was $1,075 every year. It didn't go up. It didn't even move, other than about $10, $5, negligible. So you don't even care. It's like $90, $80 a month. You don't even care. It doesn't even hit you on the radar. But when somebody says $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month, you ain't buying a house. So again, I went down to 3.9, and you're still paying double for the house, and you're still neglecting the maintenance and upkeep of that house over the 30-year time span. And believe me, you're going to be spending another 100 G's, because let's call it what it is. You know how much refrigerators are right now? Has anybody looked at refrigerators? Can you believe the simplest refrigerators? They're charging $2, $3, $4, $5 grand. When you used to spend $4 or $5 grand on refrigerators, that used to be a high-end refrigerator. Now, there's other categories, the $10,000 ones, but I haven't even looked at those, right? So their ordinary refrigerators are costing people $4 grand, like it's no big deal. I'm just like, man, this is a damn shame. All right. That's crazy. Nope, says Tamara Larry. She says, nope. Of course not. Nobody told me the real expense numbers of buying a home. It isn't only principal and interest. It's HOA, tax, insurance, CDD, PMI. The extras can be way over 600. Exactly, which is the case right here. Just on this simple thing right here, the mortgage, they have to pay $900 more for whatever on top of their mortgage, and the numbers aren't even real. $1,500 for insurance. I don't know where you're going to get that in most states these days. And some states you can't even get insurance for that, so you can't even pay. But if there's something that happens to your house, you're not covered, which is wild. So you have a $450,000 house and you're not covered with insurance. That is extremely problematic, right? Or more, because there's a lot of homes like I like, just let's just say a lot of people live in homes that are 600,000, 700,000, 800,000 and up. And imagine not being able to insure it. And something happens. Like right now, what's happened in California where the fires have took out multi-million-dollar homes. Some of those homes don't even have insurance. I saw one guy on the news when he had to move his mother into their house, and he's breaking down in tears. And I know why, because he probably wasn't insured because he's in a fire zone. He's in the foothills, which, and so that right there, can you imagine? Can you imagine coming home, you're at work, they tell you, hey, you have to evacuate it at your house. And he's driving up the hill. And when he gets up the hill, he sees 2 houses down is being burnt down. So he's running in his house getting everything because it's coming. Can you believe that? I mean, just like that, he has to get whatever he can think of at that time frantically. And then he comes back and sees it a day or two later. His whole house is charred, gone. And I'm like, no insurance. And and he just starts breaking down crying. And I'm like, oh man, it's a multi-million-dollar home, irreplaceable. And now he has to literally start over. No equity, no nothing, can't borrow. It's gone. No insurance to get back his belongings. That is crazy. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you have to start making decisions based on what they're giving you now. You can't just go and buy a house and think everything's going to be fine. You have to go buy a house and hope that you're not in a fire zone, a flood zone, all kind of different areas, flooding area. I mean, all kind of things that are going into play. Your roof isn't messed up. Otherwise, you're not going to get insurance like they've done people in California using a drone. This is crazy what they're doing. This is insane. And that leaves you at risk. And they're going to do this with healthcare as well. So if Medicare starts rising, can you imagine what regular healthcare would cost without that? This is going to be a situation that ordinary citizens are about to get screwed. And the federal government has sat idly by for the last 70 years and did nothing to correct it. Zero. They didn't say, hey, you know what's going to happen down the line. They didn't look forward 20 years or 30 years. They just kept running up deficits. And the whole while, they could have been just saying, hey, you know what? Instead of deficit, why don't we just give everybody coverage? We'll pay the coverages so they can have sustainable life. We'll pay for the healthcare. We'll pay for the insurance companies to make sure that people are insured. We'll take the risk instead of taking trillions of dollars out of the Social Security Administration, out of the Medicare. You see what I'm going with this? All that money could have been used for people. You could have built a hospital, employed people, made money by just the bonds, buying American bonds at 4% at $2 trillion. You're having money come in. If inflation goes to 10 or 15%, okay, fine. But since you have trillions in there, you got 4% coming back every year. That's a lot of money versus zero money and cutting it. There was a way to do it, but these guys just sat idly by until there's a fire alarm. Somebody pulled the fire alarm like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and they still have done nothing. It's a shame. So anyhow, you have to protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you have to stop struggling now. Protect yourself from the future, and the future is unknown. Think about this. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of you right now watching this who said 20 years ago, I don't know, we probably have that. Well, I know we have the crowd that wasn't from zero 20 years ago. But 20 years ago, there is no way you can tell me you game planned for what's going on right now. Insurance possibly not having you covered on your house, on your persons. There's no way you could have game planned this. But one thing, and I'm going to toot the horn, I told you guys 5 years ago, 4 years ago, that you should be looking for something outside of America. There was a reason. Because Victor Marrero will confirm this because I believe his wife is from DR. You can get health coverage in DR when you go there, and it's pennies. Okay, you might have to wait like you're in an emergency room. But what I'm trying to get at is you don't have to pay $200 per month. You don't have to have a $500 or $1,000 deductible. You don't have to pay $300, $400 per month and still have to pay a $2,000 deductible. You don't have to do that. Much different. A little island can do it, but our big ass country can't. It doesn't make any sense. So you have to protect yourself, just like everything. So our march 4 years ago, when I was saying things like, think about outside of the USA, because the writing's already on the wall. You live in a third world country, but you don't know it yet, is because we have deficits. We have derivatives. None of those can get paid. None of it. 37 trillion can't get paid. The derivatives off of the 37 million will never be paid. But companies and businesses will be going out of business and people will be getting laid off, and people's wages will not increase proportionate to inflation. So that means you're always going to be behind the 8 ball. It's just a matter of how slow are you going to go to 100. Well, you'll never get to 100%, but how slow are you going to get to 90% of the population who's living paycheck to paycheck? That's where we're at. You're on a cliff right now. If you're an American citizen, you're on a cliff. And all these pains like AMD laying people off, and NVIDIA, I'm sure, is going to do some of that later, and Facebook and all these tech companies, the automobile industry and all this has to lay people off. That's thousands, if not millions of people over the course of a year. They have no job that's going to pay them what they're getting paid now. Now they're going into the living paycheck to paycheck or homeless camp. There's a homeless situation that's going to keep rising. People going to keep complaining. But unfortunately, if it costs you $60,000 to live comfortably, then how many people don't make $60,000 a year? There's millions. Where are these people going to live? They can't get an apartment. They can't live anywhere. Findhelp.org. That's what you're going to do. Get these people on board. Findhelp.org to get some sort of housing. There's housing there. There's all kinds of things like that the federal government is feeding to these nonprofit organizations. They're giving them $100 billion combined amongst all these organizations in the United States and U.S. territories. But people don't know to tap into it, which is a travesty. So they have all these homeless people living where right up the street there's some help that they don't know anything about, that they can get grants to help them move in. There's grants for even down payments on homes. There's grants for all kinds of things, but people don't know where to go. But Matthew Lesko, bless that guy to death. Go to findhelp.org. And if you have mental health issues, 988 is what that's for. 211 caregivers. You need help with caregivers, go to 211.org. You need some mental psychiatric help, and you know how much that costs, but you can get it for free at 988 on your phone. Dial 988. We did it live when he was here. So see, this is the thing, the infrastructure that Americans don't really realize exists, because when do you see a PSA that says, hey, if there's a problem you're having and you need help with transportation, need help with healthcare or Medicare or groceries or whatever, go to findhelp.org. They don't tell people this. They don't say, we have grants. If you're a woman trying to start up a business, we have grants. If you're a minority woman, what's minority? Well, minority is probably if you're Asian, if you're Black, if you're Indian, if you're in Indian in 2 spaces, Indian indigenous to America, or Indian as in over in India, or you came from Africa. I mean, this is what exists here, but you don't know it. So this is why when people come over and they start criticizing migrants and immigrants, they don't understand there is money for migrants and immigrants from the government also. But they know, because when they're at the border, let's say, there's people handing them pamphlets or information. Hey, if you need money, this is what you do. This is who you contact. In America, They don't go down homeless row and say, hey, here's some information that can get you off the street, at least if it's for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They don't do that. There's a few people that do, but it's locally in the city. And who wants to walk down homeless row? It's depressing. You're scared. A lot of people would be scared because some of these people are on drugs, alcohol, or something else. And sometimes a lot of these people may be mentally ill as well. So you don't know what you're going to walk into. You could walk in and everything's fine. And then you can walk in another day and there's 2 people acting crazy in the middle of the street, blocking traffic. So that's what you get, though, when people are homeless. They are part of society that can't function or lost their job. But the majority of them are people that lost their jobs and they have no way to go anywhere. If you are in California, or it doesn't matter where you are, what city or rural area you live in, if you lose your job and have no money, the only thing you know as an American is I can go get welfare maybe, or some services like that. But it's not enough to sustain yourself. So then what happens? You can't get like $400 or $500 and live somewhere generally. It has to be the equivalent of a job. Sure, they have areas with low income and things like that, but there's a waiting list. Anybody that does Section 8, you guys, well, okay, you guys would find out, but if you rent to Section 8 people and then you go down to the Section 8 office, which is what I do, I used to go down there and you'll see people standing in line, and then you'll hear at the front desk where a lady will say, I'm sorry, it's a 3-year wait. I'm like, these people don't have a place to live right now. How are they going to wait 3 years? This is insane. But that's what happens. And people don't realize that's not a safety net. But findhelp.org, there's more places that can help you. But again, this is what America has become because they want to cater to the rich people and corporations. And ever since you want to do tax cut, tax breaks, like I always keep saying, that gives you a boom. But on the other side of the boom is a collapse. And each time you keep moving 3 to 5% of the people in America into living paycheck to paycheck. And that's why I'm fearful of what's going to happen this next time, because it's going to be the money balloon is increased so dramatically, especially after what happened on the stock market. These guys can borrow hundreds of millions of dollars on their stocks alone, and it won't even do a dent in the overall wealth they have. So they can use that to borrow and get more money and put more dollars into the system, which means the money supply increases, and that means inflation increases. Or in another way to say it, it's going to cost you more money to buy the same products. And as long as you keep up that, then that means you live in a third world country. You just don't know it yet. And I've been telling people this for about 30 years. People used to look at me like, what's he talking about? We got toilets, we got grocery stores, we got everything. I said, yeah. I said, but don't worry, I should be dead by the time it happens. Little did I know it might be happening before I'm dead. I always thought it was going to be 80 to 100 years later. I didn't think it could only be 50 years later or 60 years. I didn't even think that. But now I'm thinking it's going to be very bad. So congratulations to everybody that purchased outside the United States and has some other properties that may cost less, and the cost of living is less, and you can get services different than in America where they say, hey, that's what it is. So Victor Marrero, if you're still here, let me know if your wife, or if you know, how much do you have to pay for insurance in the Dominican Republic if you live there? Do you guys know what that is? Because it's so minimal. People used to tell me, but I dismissed it because I'm like, I don't believe you. Some people were saying, oh yeah, it's only like $50, $60 per month. I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh yeah, it's only $50, $60 a month. I just came back from surgery. I'm like, what? Surgery? How much did you have to pay? They're just like, nothing. I'm like, you have to pay like $2,000, $3,000 copay, $500,000. They're like, no. I'm like, hold on a second. Something ain't right. Something's not right. And they go, oh yeah, it's not right. I had to wait 6 months. I was like, okay, but you didn't have to have a bill of $100,000 and your insurance company tells the hospital that I'm sorry, we're only going to cover 90,000 of the 160 or 120. I'm like, man, what are you saying right now? So anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, you have to know where you live, and you have to pay attention to the stock market, the crypto market, not so much, but you have to pay attention on what's going on and what your congressman and what your government is doing. They're not trying to help the ordinary citizens. We here are trying to help ordinary citizens, the OCs. The government is only watching out for corporations and the rich guys. All right. They have their ear. They're the ones that have the lobby groups. They're the ones that are able to afford the bribery situation where you can rock in and say, hey, you want a nice vacation? It's on the house. I know it's a 5-star place and a private jet and all that, and it probably costs $200,000, but I don't want nothing from you. I don't want nothing. I'm just doing it out the kindness of my heart. But yet, these same people will not go down anywhere and say, you know what? Instead of doing that, how about me go down and build a $200,000 house so it can help citizens of America? See, they're not even thinking like that. But I'll tell you who is, and I got to give her credit, is Jeff Bezos' wife. She got all those multi-billions of dollars, and she's running around the country giving people ways to set up, help them out with living, which is awesome. She's one of the few. Goes under the radar, which is a shame. I guess it's kind of like they don't want to shame the other 2,700 or so billionaires on the planet or something. I'm just like, this is crazy. I'm like, why don't all these guys who have $100 billion, they can't get rid of a billion and build some $200,000 homes that maybe only 1,000 square feet, the old shotgun style that maybe only 3-bedroom, 2 baths. At least people can do affordable living. Geez, they have to leave it up to me to do this stuff. But I haven't figured out an easy way to do it, quite frankly, because I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars or $100 billion or $1 billion or 1 million sitting around. If I did, I couldn't be spending it. So the point I'm trying to make, though, is that those guys could change the world, but they choose to do something else. So now we have to do it ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We have to look out for our fellow man. So we will see. Let's see what Victor Morrell says. DR medical insurance is also based on age, but my brother-in-law that lives there told me he pays around $250 for, exactly, for a family of 4. I know it's a lot less than the USA. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's like $50, $40, $60 a person. This is what I'm saying. This is what they were telling me. I was like, are you kidding me? You're lying. And then, like I said, I ran into some people that went to the hospital, just came out of surgery. And I was like, well, how much did you have to pay? And they're like, what do you mean? And then when he said that, I was like, are you kidding me right now? You don't have the deductibles? I was like, I couldn't believe what he was saying. But now, if it's based on age, that means that's the way it should be. The older you get, it should cost less. At least I hope that's what it is. Even though the older you get, it costs more to maintain your health. That's true. So I don't know if it's like insurance where the younger you are, the cheaper it is. But all I know is I think the guy was around 40, 45 years old, that I was 40 to 45 that I was talking to. And he said he paid like $60 a month. Or actually, I don't even think he said a month. I think he said $60. I don't even think he said 60 every month. He just said $60. So I don't know if it was a year. I don't think it's a year. The reason why I don't think it's a year is because the average wage in DR ranges. Some reports call it 9,000. Some reports call it 10,000. If that is the real number, then yeah, people can't be paying $600, $700 or $1,000 for insurance if they only make $9,000 a year and got to pay income tax of 15%. So take away 15%, that's now your wage is $7,700. So yeah, you can't pay that much. You got food, groceries, electrical costs that's off the charts. So anyhow, I didn't want to get into that speech tonight, but hey, it just went that way. We're talking about the housing situation. Hopefully everybody understands what we're talking about here. I want to do this. I want to do this one here. This is something different as well. This is courtesy of, let me see if I can pull this up. Courtesy War Over Windows. This is one of the little drawbacks with the HOAs, right? And again, make sure you smash the like button, everybody, and share the video so other people know what's going on around here. Oh, and by the way, you know what? I'm going to do this real quick. The reason I'm going to do this real quick is because I meant to do something else here. Real crazy. Is impossible. Exactly. Hey, Eric, I picked up 1960s Mickey Mantle grade 10. How much? 80. Is that a good deal? Because I don't know what the grade 10s on the BCCGs are. Is that what's All right, I'm back. In case anybody just joined us and you see a different coverage on front here, you don't see the normal media background. I got to say, StreamYard tried to charge my card double without any notification, without anything. And apparently, when I went back in, they raised their prices almost double. And I'm like, I've been a customer for like 5 years. And you didn't send out an email to say, hey, our prices are going to go up or nothing. You're just trying to charge my card. I'm like, oh, that's a bad sign for me. I don't like dealing with companies like that. That's disrespect to me. So I'm like, I'm not going to do StreamYard anymore. So I didn't renew. So what I'm doing is, just so you guys know, I'm going to sign up with a free account with Emux to see how that goes, or my trial, whatever they do. And I'm going to see how that works out on Friday. So this will be a new adventure for me over the next 2 days. I'll probably learn about Emux. I checked out Restream, OneStream. There's like 4 places. There's really one I like, but it's Mac only. I don't do Mac only. So I would have used that one, but I can't remember the name of it. But nonetheless, I'm going to go check out Emux and see what that is on the live stream, and we'll get to it. All right. Now, back to the situation at hand. Share the video, smash the like button, and you know what this means. I want to give you guys a little something, our ssnlifestyle.com Punta Cana Investors Forum. You want to learn now how to buy no qualify, no credit check, no barriers to entry, so you can potentially have money coming in, short-term rental, long-term rentals. If you can buy low enough, yes, there's still properties where you can buy low enough. All right. And I have some other announcement to make after this, but I'm going to play this video first. Let's see. I think I played that one. Let's go with this one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have fun during your lifetime. Don't just keep doing work, work, work. Put some of your money that you're using as liabilities, get some money and use as assets so then you can actually have freedom to do what you want to do. That is number one. However long it takes. If it takes 10, if it takes 15, if it takes 20, at least you have a plan. That's number one. All right. Let's get into this real quick, even though I'm already, hold on. I'm going to do a couple of things. We're going to go to the land, but first, let me do this. Okay. This is what we look forward to when you have an HOA now. There's a war. That's what we're looking at nowadays. There's always an HOA war on the horizon. 5-year fight. This is courtesy of Brian P. After a 5-year fight with the Homeowners Association in her Lake Wiley neighborhood, Sherry Loeffler has scored a rare victory, a legal settlement with an HOA. Exactly. It's very rare. See, this is 2019. This isn't crazy. Submitted plans to have new vinyl windows installed on her townhome, which the HOA for the Yachtsman on Lake Wiley community approved. Nice. After the windows were installed, the association reneged on its approval. What? She contends it ordered her to replace her windows at her own expense so their appearance matched most in the community. She refused. Fined her nearly $12,000 and put a lien on her house. Worried that the HOA would foreclose on her home, Loeffler sued. Very smart. The settlement grants Loeffler $75,000. She can keep her windows. Great. Such a weight has been lifted, but look what she had to do. If this was 5 years, how much do you think it cost her in lawyer fees? I hope they say it, because it has to be 20 some thousand, 25,000, 30,000, wouldn't you think? Such a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, said Loeffler, 53. Can you imagine being 50 years old and dealing with this? Who plans events and does other support work for banking executives? I can't even explain it. Still, Loeffler said the money only begins to cover what the battle has cost her. Oh, here we go. She had to borrow in to cover her legal fees. See, this is what I'm saying. And refinance her 3-story townhome to a significant higher interest rate so she could free up money to go to trial. See, the case was settled just a week before it was scheduled to go to trial. This is crazy. And the HOA, she has the signed documents. If you guys aren't familiar with the HOA, you usually have to go to the architect committee if you're trying to do some remodifications. I don't see they're using that term here. They come out, look at your place, they see your plans, they sign off on it. What world does the HOA sign off on something, then the person builds it, and the next thing you know, they're sitting here talking about you got to take it down at your expense after they approved it. And she had to go through all of this. The lien on her house is 12 grand. That would have stayed on there if she would have done nothing. They would have tried to foreclose on her house eventually because she's going to be bitching. They're going to be annoying her. This is insanity. This is what I'm talking about. The case was settled. She also had to begin taking anxiety medication to deal with the stress. Does she get any for the suffering? That's stressful. You had to take out extra money, had to do all this stuff just to pay her lawyers. This is crazy. And that conflict with their HOA was a major source of her stress. Of course it is. You're thinking you're going to lose your home the whole time. A number of people who are in disputes with the HOAs have approached Loeffler for advice. She offers support, guidance, and words of caution. I tell people you may want to fight them, she said, but let me tell you what it is going to cost you. That's what I always boil down to. HOAs make and enforce rules in growing number of neighborhoods. More than a quarter of North Carolinians now live in HOA, and many of them are happy with their association. But legal experts say conflicts between residents and the HOA appear to be on the rise. Of course, because they need extra money. The HOA is just like the government. They need extra money to pay the higher insurance rates, the higher taxes, and it costs more to maintain the outside of properties and the maintenance and upkeep of the lawn care. So this is what happens. And one of the reasons I used to never want to live in an HOA environment. A bill that would have prevented HOAs from foreclosing on homeowners for debts of less than $2,500 did not move in the last legislative session. Of course, it should be like 25 grand. Come on now. This ain't 1975. but lawmakers may take it up again in the next session. That's shame on them. No state or federal agencies oversee HOAs, which a lot of people are unlawful to begin with. But nonetheless, this is what we're at. We're in America, man. They're jacking people all the time. Okay, remove the lien, cancel the fines, and reimburse Loeffler for $12,675 she had spent on legal fees. You got back 75 grand or 90, 87 grand. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is there's no 5-year 87 grand and thinking you might lose your house or have to figure out I have to move. That's stress enough. That is insane after you got an okay. So this is what we're dealing with out here, ladies and gentlemen. Every day of the week for the rest of your life, this is what's going down. So what do? Let's go over here to something new. Go over to, you're not going to believe this. I got this again last night from the Let's Go Helps group that they gifted me in because I had him on. I didn't even ask. His assistant sent me a thing on November 7th. And I was just checking my emails, making sure I didn't miss anything. And I was like, what's this? Because I saw like our back office or something like that. And I'm like, why do I need our back office? He already came on. So I open it up and it says, oh, we're gifting you into Let's Go Helps, our group, because of what you've done. Because he's on podcasts. Because you guys know we're on podcasts. We're on Spotify, iHeart, and all these guys. So that live is on there and also other places around the internet, right? So she said, because of what you did, I was like, you didn't have to, but she's like, oh no, we're doing it for you. I was like, cool. So when I went in there, the lady was talking about Dollar Land Store. Can you believe this? This right here, Dollar Land Store. I'm in California right now. Dollar Land Store. Can you believe $1 down, $1.99 doc fees, and then you start your monthly payments? Apparently. I haven't gotten into it because there's really no property that I can advise to buy. But with all of that said, a lot of you here may have seen my videos before when I said I used to do landauction.com. These are the properties that landauction.com would have on their Saturday auction. And their Saturday auction could have anywhere from 75 properties to 150. And they would be things like what you see on the screen right here. So this is why it's so, and the same lots that are at discount lots, which makes it very, very interesting. Wow. Yes, he says. Brian P. Okay, here we go. It's going for 175 to 275. That's a great deal, man. That's what we look for when we're buying anything of value, that we're buying an asset. You want to make sure that I'm not buying at the top of the market or even 3/4 of the way there. You're buying at 50%. I like that buy. And it's a 10 as well. I like that buy. Great buy, man. Victor Morel, damn, that's how it works. Welcome to the USA, land of the big bills. Everyone is trying to get in your pocket. Exactly. This is another thing that's happening in America. Victor Morel just brought up is that the government is trying to get in your pocket. The guy that needs to come over and fix something at your place, he's getting in your pockets. Your city is getting in your pockets via property taxes. The insurance guys are going, hey, we're not going to cover you, or we are going to cover you and we're going to raise the price in your pockets. Everything you go out and eat in America in your pockets. No longer is it affordable for the middle class, in my opinion, because anytime you have entrees that are $35, $30 and up, that's not for the middle class. When we have McDonald's charging $15, $14 for freaking combo meals, what kind of stuff is going on around here? This is insane. I mean, this is just insane what we're seeing out here. But that's what happens when you have to pay higher wages. So, but anyhow, here we are, Dollar Land Store. And I want to caution everybody, do not start thinking these are great deals. All right. This is land that is acreage that's been sitting like this for probably 100 years. Yes, it could be subdivided on a plot map. Yes, it could have the lines, but nobody lives there. There's no water, sewer, electricity coming up to this land generally. But with that said, if you know the area and go out there is what you should do. And you go out there, and I'll use a perfect example. Like, let's see here. Let's go with this. Where's some acreage at? Kern County. I'm familiar with Kern County. There's nothing there, right? So look at this. You might say 4.67 acres, Mojave Desert. What can you do in the freaking desert when there's no city that's nearby that does not have 200 to 300,000 people? There's cities nearby that have like 20,000, 40,000 or less, but that does not make tourism. That does not get you to be able to build a business in the middle of nowhere. That does not give you being able to live in the middle of nowhere, because right here, I can guarantee you there is no water, there's no sewer, there's no electricity coming to these 4.67 acres. And the freeway might be just 2 miles away or less. But it gets 120 degrees in the summer, right? 118, 110, 115 for 3 months in the year. And a lot of people don't realize it gets chilly in November and December and January. I know, it's kind of crazy, right? So again, this may seem like a great deal, but then look at this. Here is what it looks like. So even on a plot map, look, they have a city lots. They got the 4 acres all lined up, but there's no city coming. There is nobody coming out here in the middle of godforsaken land. But at one time, they were trying to sell it like people are going to come out here, right? So that's why they already subdivided the land. Everybody has 4 acres, 4 to 5 acres. Great. Look at how it's structured. I don't know why that, but okay. So you have an entry point up here. But again, this is 19 grand. People will say, this is a great deal. This is a great deal. And then they have this thing here. Look, the property is roughly 8.4 miles from the town of Mojave and 13.6 miles from Rosamond. The parcel is perfect. See, they make it seem like this is something you should buy. But like I said, forget all the fluff. You have an APN number that they provide here, for instance. This is almost like real estate lessons. Everybody knows this. A lot of people know this. A lot of people may be watching that does not. APN. So you get an address from the APN, right? So now my next move, if I was interested in, well, which I'm not, but let's just say I think this is a good property for me. I'm calling the city to find out the actual address, or you should be able to look it up in the county, Kern County. You should be able to pull it up. But anyhow, you have the address. And if you don't have it, you just call the city and you'll get the address. From the assessor's office, you can get the address. In fact, you should be able to go online. But anyhow, after that, then I'm calling up the realtor once I know this street address, because I'm just going to ask him what is sold on this street. And then I'll know the next street because I'll have the plot map up from the assessor's office. So then I'll say, hey, I'll give him these 3 streets, right? That's one, probably that's another. And there's probably one over there. I'll say, okay, here's the 3 streets. Do you have any 4.5 to 5 acre parcels that have been sold in the last 12 months? And if they say, yes, Eric, we sold a 4.6 or 4.7, 4.8, 5 acres that's over on this street, and they say something crazy like 40 grand, 39 grand, this means you can do an arbitrage. And a lot of people may not understand what I mean, but I've told people about what I used to do with landauction.com. This is exactly what I would do. So now I sit there and figure out, okay, how many of these lots are actually available under these guys' program? And then I figure out if there's one, then that kind of leaves me in a situation. But now I sit there and think, okay, I'm going to put down $200. And then I'm going to owe $246 per month. But I can sell this thing for $30,000, $34,000. Somebody bought one for $39,000. So I can give somebody a deal by putting something at $35,000 that sold last year. So what I'll do is I'll take this exact same stuff and I'll give it to the realtor and I'll say, hey, I'm going to have a contract with this place. Will you put mine up for offer at $35,000? If I know that's the deal, I will enter into a contract, pay the $200. I'll have this thing sold within 45 days if it actually is worth 39, 40 grand, 37, because here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to see it on the MLS. And after they see it on the MLS, you know what's going to happen? They're going to go, man, it's 35 grand. But you know what? I want a deal. And so what are they going to do? They're going to make an offer. They're going to come with an offer that's going to probably say, we'll give you 29.9. And I'm like, okay, looks like we're going to be making a deal because I'm going to make 10 G's with doing less than a month's worth of work. And then you can push and say, hey, man, the last one sold at 39. You know, and this is what I used to do. I'd be like, well, why don't you just make it like 30, 32 and call it a day? We're halfway, like everybody says. I'm even less than halfway. Just give me 32 and it's yours. And of course, the person's going to come back because they realize that realtor's saying, well, the last one sold at 39. You're buying it at 32. This is a deal. So hell yeah, you should just give him his 32. So what's happened? I paid the worst case scenario. I paid $467, right? Because we put it in escrow. And in California, I just found out they took some of the things back. You can do double closings in California. Not all states can you do this. So I called up Fidelity today in Eureka. I've sold several properties in Eureka, California, in Northern California at Shelter Cove. So I called them up and said, hey, can I do double closings like I used to do? And she's like, well, they have new laws. And I said, okay, what's the new laws? She says, well, you have to disclose to the other party that you bought it for $18.99 or whatever. You got to disclose your purchase price. All parties have to know if you do a double closing. And I was like, okay, why would I care about that? You can always look up and see how much people bought their property for. What's that? To me, that's not a deterrent to stop me from doing it. The guy's still going to buy my place for 32 grand because he knows it's worth 39. And even if I didn't even care and I said, you know what, just I'll do the 29.9, an extra $1,000, 29.9, you can have it. Either way, I make $10,000 in less than 2 months. And we wash, rinse, and repeat. We just keep going. Then you just go look around for another property. So now I want to show you something else about this that a lot of people may not understand. Let me show you something else. So when you go out to look at the property, this is what you do. So this one right here, 4.67, you make notes. Then you go to this one, well, that's in Modoc County, so we won't go there. Kern County, 2.5 acres, we go there. We also go over here, Kern County, 1.3. We go all these, 44 acres sold out. Okay, what did it sell for? 320. Oh, wow, no wonder. Oh, no, that's half an acre. That's 44 acres. Are you kidding me? Well, it's still worthless. It don't matter. It's worthless. So you go check out all these things. Almost an acre. Well, that's Modoc. So you go to all these Kern County places while you're there. You spend the day there. You're doing this as business. You have a LLC, right? You're going to have an LLC. So you're going to go and all the things you're doing, you go eat, you go drink, you go talk to the realtors, you go driving around, your gas money, the airfare, if you have to take airfare. You take all this stuff and that's an expense. So then when you sell this thing for 29 grand, yeah, you got $10,000. Yes, you're going to have to pay taxes on it, but guess what starts happening? It costs me $1,000 expenses that I'm going to be taking off of this bad boy. We do this as a business, right? So now I got to pay tax on 9 grand, let's say, all right, instead of the 10 that I make. So these are the type of things that come up that you have to understand. And this is why businesses buy property in America. It's an advantage. So you go to all these places. That's in Kern County. I don't see any others. Oh, here goes another one. 2.16. You go to all these places, write it down in your book. Then when you talk to the realtor, you're going over all this stuff saying, hey, how much is this area on this street? What's sold? What's sold? You talk to the realtor. The realtor gets 6%. That's it. Seriously not going to give up 6%? Come on now. Surely you're going to give up 6%, right? $10,000. You give up $600 for somebody that helps you sell something in less than 30 days. Come on now. Let's go. So now what ends up happening is, since you know the lay of the land in this area, now all of a sudden she would say, because you checked out all these, all of a sudden she tells you, hey, Eric, there's a place over there that you told me to give you a listing for that was like 1 acre. Where's it at? No, 2.2 acres on this other area. I found out there's another place that recently sold like this year, and it sold for 27 grand. Ah, well, guess what? You're listening to that one too, because I'm going to go right here, buy this damn thing. And then, yeah, okay, I'm going to pay $200 and I'm going to pay $116 per month. And I'm going to list it for about $5,000 less than the latest thing that sold 6 months ago. In people's mind, what they think is, because it was bought, let's say in March, and somebody paid, I'll use this one, 29 grand. They think in their head, oh, a few months later, it's worth more, because people think real estate just rises all the time, whether it's land or a house. They're like, oh, it's worth more. So if I come back and I'm going to buy this for $8,500, now all of a sudden, these guys come to me and say, man, this property, I only want to pay 19 grand. Again, am I going to bitch about 19 grand when a guy comes to me like within 30 days and says, I'll give you 19 grand instead of 25? I might push back like always, just to make them think they got a better deal. I'd be like, hey man, why don't you, that's a bit low. That's like 7-8 grand less than what I want. Why don't you just give me an extra 2 grand? And most of the time they go, okay, I'll pay the extra 2 grand, because they were going to actually pay more than that to begin with. But I don't want to push people that much. They get a deal, I get a deal. I make money, they make money. That's the way I look at it. So that's what I used to do. And now if you know all these Kern counties and you know the prices that's in the open market, and that let's just say they're all 5 to 10 grand more. For me, I always want things that are more than 10 grand. Because even I'm going to win if somebody says, Eric, you bought this one. Let's find another one. You bought this one for 19,000. For some reason, this one's more and it's only 1.3 acres. But anyhow, there must be a reason. But the point is, Bear Valley, there's a reason. But anyhow, let's just say this one right here, 19,000. Now, see, I don't like this $473 per month. I can't be holding this. This thing right here on the open market has to be worth another 20 grand more. So I win if somebody rolled in and said, hey man, I'm going to buy this for 27,000. It's up to you. You're sitting there going, well, I made $6,000 in less than a week, or less than a month, let's say. Can you imagine doing 3 of those per month? 3 of those in a 60-day period. I don't think anybody's not going to be happy about making 30,000 in less than 60 days, whether that's 15,000 a month, 15,000 a month, and you have unlimited supply. So you guys understand this, right? Let me know what people are thinking out here. Here we go. Let me see what Victor Morel, land of the big bills. Everyone is trying to get in your pockets. Exactly. So I'm going to also go over here to the other one. Let me see if I have. The other one is the same. Right. So you guys are going to find this very, very funny. When I discount lots is another one. So search for land, and let's see if it stays on the same page. If I can get there. I don't see anything moving here. What's happening? It's not moving. I don't like this. Oh, here we go. All right. We have a little delay, but discount lots is another one. There's several companies that sell all this land, because a lot of people got this land from tax sales, tax auctions from the county in all these states, because nobody wants to pay, whether it's $100, and some of these places have HOA, believe it or not, and nobody wants to pay like $100, $200, $150, $105 per month for land that they can't really sell, or perceive that they can't sell. It's in the family even, because a lot of this stuff is like old age. I mean, you know, people are 75, 80 years old, and they're like, hey, son, take this. Like, let me show you something right here. 40-acre lot in Lake Havasu. What does in Lake Havasu mean? Okay. That's a big lot, $567 a month. Oh, AR 36A, agriculture residential, 36 acres minimum, Lake Havasu. Okay, I don't advise buying anything near Lake Havasu. I'm just going to say right now. Yes, I've been to Lake Havasu. In fact, I got to have some SSN lifestyle pictures for Lake Havasu. London Bridge Resort. If I ever go back, that's where I stay. London Bridge Resort. It's right on the water. It's pretty sick. The river runs right through. It's like one of those. Well, it's if there's events, it's the party city in the middle of nowhere. But anyhow, Lake Havasu is pretty cool. Now let's get back to some other things. Here we are. Here, look at these 559 and Seligman, Arizona, in the middle of nowhere. Moffett, Colorado, Barstow, where it's hot at. That's ridiculous. That's a thermometer off 15, Highway 15, 2 miles. Nobody lives in Barstow hardly. I think probably I would think there's less than 2,000 people that live there. Oh, actually, I'm wrong. There's 2 sections to Barstow. Actually, there's probably 4,000 people, I would think, that live there. There can't be that many people. But this is why you have to go to the area if you're interested. Kingman, Arizona used to be a potential. Crossville, Tennessee. Look at this. This is all in the middle of nowhere. These are all failed development places that at one time in the last 30, 40 years, somebody came and said, we're going to do this. And then nobody moved there because it's not really conducive to living there. So every now and then you got this Alturas, you got Wisconsin even. This is crazy. Discount lots done expanded. So this is your job if you want to have a job where you can make money, is if you are in a place. This is Oregon. This is Michigan. This is Colorado. We have people watching from all over the USA. And here's Lake Placid, Florida, which, you know, there is a lake over there, but this is like trailer park type of stuff. Landers, California, Sanford, Colorado, 35-acre lot. Again, you have to have a reason why you do this. And you guys know the story. It's not Friday night. Like I told you, you guys have heard of the singer Ray Charles. He had a son named David. He was at a landauction.com and he bought land in the middle of by Palm Springs. And I'm like, why are you wanting this? I think it was 20 acres, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 20. But he's like, he sees me at the first land auction that he says, this is after the fact. He says, man, I talked to you at when it was by Universal, and I only talked to you for like 30 seconds or a minute, and then I left. Then there was an auction at Irvine. And at Irvine, I come down there, and that's when he runs up to me. Hey, man, you helped me out. You helped me out, man. I can't believe it. I'm here to buy a 20-acre parcel in the middle of the desert by Palm Springs. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why would you do that? There's no water. There's no sewer. Because I actually checked, because it's 60 miles outside of LA, and they have Palm Desert where cheap lots are. There is water, sewer, and garbage out there, lots at Palm Desert. It's unbelievable, right off the freeway, almost by Indio. It's crazy. So I had to go look. And sure enough, what did I see there? Wind, desert. And yeah, okay, there's 20 or 30 people that have these little, houses there. But I'm like, wait a minute. This is no bastion of where people are flocking to at the time. So I'm not holding this thing forever. So that's why I know about the area. And he tells me, yeah, I'm looked at this. I bought this. And he goes, I actually went there like you told me to. And my lot, the land that I'm getting is landlocked. And I said, well, then why are you buying it? You know, that's against the rules. He goes, no. I went down to the county. I checked with the county, and in California, they have automatic easements. He goes, I checked with the county, and sure enough, they said, we have an automatic easement into my lot. And I talked to the owner, and the owner said he doesn't care. He said, I can actually go 30 feet over for an entrance. I said, you're going to have that in writing, right? He goes, yeah. I said, then okay. So then he says the ultimate thing I told you guys many times. I said, so what are you going to do? I lost connection. I said, what are you going to do? And this guy, hold on a second. I'm going to do something. I got to come back. So this guy, he says, you won't believe it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to I said, there's no water, there's no sewer, there's nothing. He goes, that's right, because it's going to be a recreation area. I don't need that. I'm bringing out the bulldozer or some dirt mover, put up mounds so the motocross guys can go. I'm going to have the ATV rental situation. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I said, this is awesome. And then he said, yeah, so that way I'm going to have the food snack. I'll be the only one around. So people are going to have to eat the food there, the snacks there, the drinks there. He goes in the bathroom. We're going to have the porta potty stuff. And I'm like, that is genius. That is genius, because already out there in the middle of the desert, there's trails. And he's like, oh, no, I'm going to set up where you can have snacks and restaurant type food trucky thing. And I'm going to have a little cookout grill in the back and all kind of things. I was like, and he goes, not only the ATVs, not only the motocross, but then I'm going to have competitions. I'm like, oh my God. And he goes, yeah, I got the 20 acres. Not only can I do that, I'm actually going to have like paintball, and I'm making it a recreational park. And I don't need electricity because I'm only going to be open during the day. I said, that's good. That's good. And he bought this thing for less than 10 G's, 20 acres. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 4,000 to 6,000. I just can't remember the number right now, but it was something that cheap. So again, anybody can do this. You just have to take the initiative. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. Nobody's stopping you. You just have to take the initiative and want to do it. So I just gave you guys something that's going to come into effect. You can do it right now. Stop struggling now. Right now, you could do this. If you want to go, if you live in New Mexico, if you live in Colorado, if you live in California, if you live in Oregon, they have these all over, whether it's going to be discount lots, whether it's going to be Dollar Land Store, which is this new place. You just never know what's going to come up on these sites. And the more you go travel around and the more you keep notes, I used to keep notes of every place that I went, and I'd write down the price, and then I'd write down the price of what the realtor told me and the date. So then this way, if something else came up that was in the area, I have maps already, and I go, oh man, that was by that lot. I know where that is. I have pictures that I took while I'm on the ground and all this. So now I don't have to go back. I don't have to go back at all unless the thing is, well, there's certain things in the back 40, like in Modoc County at California Pines. They have 2 sections at California Pines. Nobody knows this. So this guy here is selling this for 1.7 acres, is selling for $7,300. There's a lake there. There's a little clubhouse there. But what people don't know about California Pines is when you come off the main road and you drive into the first section, all of the lots in the first section up until the clubhouse and a little beyond, water, sewer, electricity. Soon as you go past the lake that's right there by the clubhouse and go down about a mile to a mile and a half, after that, you're on your own. There might be electricity, but there's no water and sewer hookups on all the land. So now if you buy a land out back, like this one probably is here in the middle of nowhere, you're going to have to bring all that down there. And now your cost is astronomical. And so that's why if this guy says, hey, it's up in the sewer section near the clubhouse, then this thing is worth more than $7,300. But if it's out back, it's not worth more than $7,300. That's the difference. So once you go to the places, you know all these little nuances that other people who are on the internet don't know anything about. They're just like, oh, this is cheap. I saw California Pine selling for $29,000. This is a deal. It's not. It's because it's not in the sewer section and up front by the clubhouse, by the lake. So therefore, this has a whole different value. And so this is why you have to be cautious, but this is why I tell you, go there, look at it. That's why when people are coming for the Punta Cana Investors Forum, go sign up. StopStrugglingNow.com website or SSNLifestyle.com. This is for Punta Cana coming up December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Come on down, ladies and gentlemen. We got something for you. If you want to buy real estate, this is the time. You can do no credit check, no qualifying. You will need 10% down of whatever the purchase price is. You know what happened today? Anybody watching this right now, you guys aren't going to believe this. Here's what happened today on Instagram. In fact, I have a picture. I could not believe what I saw today. This is at Panorama Luxury inside Vistacana. Look at this. I do not know what that is. $89,600. I'm like, okay, here, get a good look at this. Panorama Luxury is Panorama Luxury 1, which is on the right side. Panorama Luxury 2 is on the left side. All right. And it's directly across, or the lake. You see them little islands there? That is the freshwater lake. This is a rendering, of course. This is not built yet. This is a rendering. This is going to be sick. I'm looking at this 89 grand. All I remember is a condo at this price when it first came out was 75 grand. You know what Epic Ventures did? They did something that was so cold. Because they had what they did was, in fact, you guys, I made a video about it 3 years ago, 4 years ago, because I was pissed. Because they had a list of everybody. The realtors were putting a list together for everybody that wanted a unit and picking the units. They already had lay of the land because they already knew how much sales they already did. You know what these guys did? It was so disgusting. This $89,000 unit, I don't know where it is. It probably looks out back. But all I'm trying to say is they changed the prices. They added like a 1 in front of it. All of a sudden, this stuff is like 150, 175. I'm like, what are you doing? And then they took the list away. I was heated. Me and Epic Ventures, we had a problem. We might still have a problem. I hit him up the other day. I don't know if bygones are bygones, but we had a problem at that point because we have members here that was going to be in on the first flight to get these $70-some thousand. Get the 1 bedroom was like $99,000. These are lock-offs for like $160. That was a deal where you could have a studio and a 1 bedroom, and they were going to they put the door between. Then when they came out on the open market for sale, they said, nah, it's going to be $200 and some odd thousand. I'm like, what? So yeah, I made a video about it and I was pissed. And ever since then, they have no love for me, but they serves them right. I bought it Panorama Garden. Remember, I was like, I bought it Panorama Garden. Why are you guys doing this? Why didn't you just do what you said? But it's because they had like almost 100% buy rate. And they had people on the waiting list. They were going to sell out both sides of this building. And they raised the prices, put a 1 in front of every damn thing. It was crazy. And then they put a 2 in front of the $100 and some thousand properties. And so people still bought it. So they got nerve to put in $89,000 today. And if this is a condo, even if it's a studio, I want it. 89 grand. Panorama Luxury, even if it's out back. In fact, speaking of Instagram, we went up to 929 just yesterday. Just Monday. Today, we went down to 928. They took 1 away. I'm waiting to see if they continue to keep doing this nonsense. But we will see. Let me see. I'm going to go to their page. It's called Panorama DR, I think. Let me go search. Panorama Life. Panorama Life DR. Right? And so you guys get an idea. Look, these are renderings. This place is spectacular. I'm pretty sure the 89 is not going to be facing the water. It'll probably be facing the back side of the property. But the fact that you can walk out your unit and go, this is a Central Park area that you see down here. Where is it at? This is Central Park area that goes going the wrong way. This way. Can't show it. Look, You can go to, everybody can walk to the water. They have it open. This is the freshwater side. So when you see that, and again, this is page, this is number 4. I'm pretty sure the $89,000 one does not have lake view. So I'm trying to find out what this is. Let me see if they ever hit me back. Hold on. The point is to never teach panorama garden. Oh, that's from Sexy People Tips. So Epic, let me see. Epic Panorama Life DR might be their marketing arm. I'm looking for Epic. Let me see if Epic ever sent me a message back. I don't think they did. I think I'm probably going to have to yeah, they didn't send me a message back. Sent 5 hours ago. So I'm going to have to find somebody that's going to have this. So anyhow, that price at that location, being a studio unit, you don't think you can rent for $80 a night, $90 a night, even $100 per night? I think you will be. You're right there by the man-made beaches, by the Vistacana Beach Club, walking distance, which would be your guest or you. And yeah, I would love to have a lock-off unit, but it's not going to happen, right? But I got to find out what it is. So hopefully I'll know tomorrow and by Friday. And so again, come join us. We'll be going not to Epic, but we'll be going to another presentation that's also inside Vistacana. You guys can check it out. There's 3 different projects. You can see the lay of the lands, understand what's going on there. And we'll go to another place as well, so you guys can see the lay of the land, and driving around, you can see how to get to places, so you'll understand the ecosystem if you've never been there before. Joe Nay's been there before. He's already an investor there. And I myself gotten around quite a lot when I was there for 2 months down there. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for watching. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And that's why we try to help people, the OCs, because since you generally are 70% of the population live paycheck to paycheck, you really don't have disposable income. So we have to get you in position to where you can have passive income, start a business, being able to arbitrage or flip. Because if you have 200 and you can flip it into $5,000 or $10,000 within 30 days or less, that gives you a win. You're going to have to go through some things, but anybody can do what I just talked about. All right. And before you go, I guess I should show one of the videos, right? Let's go with the land auction one. I've shown that one. Let me go see if I have another one. Here you go. Here goes a commercial.
Land. There's no better time to buy than now, and no easier way to buy it than at the big public land auction coming to a city near you. You bid, you win, you're a landowner.
We were maybe 3,000 less than what we expected to pay, so we're very happy. Very happy.
Very. We got a great deal for 2.5 acres of land.
Hundreds of parcels must be sold, from city lots to 10, 20, even 100-acre parcels. Now you can get clear titled land at auction prices. Call to register now to reserve your seat. It's free, and you get the complete auction catalog. You don't need to be a real estate expert to bid.
This is my first time, and it was so easy.
I love to work with them, and this is the first time I'm being here, but I'm planning to come back more and more and buy more properties.
Check out the properties you like. Look at maps online and at the auction. Do your homework, then attend the auction and win.
Great property. It was 5 acres, and I'm planning to do a lot with it, but I want to buy more properties now. That's why I'm here.
Land auction buying power means no middleman, no real estate commissions, and it's an auction, so you set the price.
I walked in and it was super simple.
You can get property 20%, 30% below retail value if you actually went there.
Down payments as low as $100, and land auction has easy financing available right at the auction.
Land auction financing was no problem whatsoever, sailed right through the process. I'm not going to recommend land auction to anybody because then I'm going to give all the good deals away.
Visit landauction.com to see our auction calendar. Get ready to reserve your seat and come to the public land auction right in your city. It's free. It's fun. It's like nothing else.
Landauction.com.
All right. Landauction.com, as you well know, if you Google it, you won't find it. They're out of business, but the same properties that Discount Lots has, that Dollar Land Store has, and anybody else that's doing this, these are the same type of properties they would have, and they would have these auctions all over the United States every week. That's how much land people have that is just vacant land, and they're just paying the tax on it, and they just get tired of paying the tax because there's never going to be any development, and the value of the land is barely crept up. And now they've wasted thousands of dollars over the last 10 years or 5 years, or in some cases 20 years. And they're like, man, forget this. This ain't even worth the hold. I bought it for almost as what it's worth. So everybody's thinking that just buy land and hold. That's not how it works. You need to know something is happening. Something's moving there. You need to call the planning department and find out, is there going to be any activity out here? Because if they say no, you better know how much that property's worth. All right. So land auction. This one was at Irvine. Come to think of it, that's in the Irvine place for the interviews. And once again, I told people before, some of you may be watching and don't know, but I was VIP with landauction.com. And the reason why I was VIP is very simple. The same thing that I told you guys, selling things before they can even really get it deeded to me, it's already sold. Because I basically, after that, sitting in that chair telling them this, I'm in Irvine. I stayed at Peacock Suites. That's where I always stayed at. And whenever I go down to Anaheim, I'm staying at Peacock Suites or Dolphins Cove, which is by the convention center in Anaheim. Those are the two spots I stay. Preferably though, Dolphin Cove, because it's usually a fully furnished unit. The other one just has a microwave, fridge, and it doesn't have a burner. But nonetheless, so that commercial or that video is what you would see on infomercials late night all over the country. So if they're going to go sell in Texas, that's the infomercial, which one of my friends who I used to play poker with, I told you guys before, he saw it. And he's like, hey, man, I could have sworn I seen you on this commercial. I said, yeah, that was me. You talking about land auction? He's like, yeah. So they show that commercial wherever they go. And the other ones, they have several of them. And I'm in several of them. And so those commercials are there. So now you're almost like when people see me at the thing, they just think it's staged like Hollywood. So people would see me because they were watching the infomercial, and it usually runs every 8 minutes. So you're probably going to see it like 4 times or 5 times a night. So then when I show up, they're like, hey, man, they want to talk to me. Hey, what do you think? And I'm like, I saw you. And all kind of stuff happens. But VIP was the best. All right. Because they get this, fly me and the wife anywhere that they have an auction, put us up for 3 nights, even though the auction's just on Saturday. So fly in on Thursday, stay Friday, go look at property. If I'm interested, I'll just look around. Then Saturday, I already know what I'm buying. And then on Saturday, go to the auction. On Sunday, come back to Sacktown. And so that alleviates everything. My expenses are paid. They even gave, if I'm not mistaken, even gave me a few $100s because they would give me more, but I told them the wife has to come with me. So you got to get 2 airline tickets. So I said, it's only fair if you give me whatever. I don't really care. I don't really need it. But if you're going to give me some little, food money, okay, I'm not going to say no. So now I have a free ride, unlike everybody else. I have an unfair advantage somewhat because I'm flying to Miami and they're paying for it and my hotel by South Beach. And I go to the Miami Convention Center where they have it. I go buy some property. So I had a huge advantage over everybody else because now when they had in Miami, they have property for sale in Nevada, in Southern California. I know what the property is that they're selling over there. The people in Miami, they have no clue what that stuff is. So since they have no clue, they bid a little bit because it's just like a gamble. Okay, I'll bid 1,000. I'll bid 1,500. But once you go past about 1,500 to $2,000, it drops off. I get the thing for 2,500 or whatever. And I know what it is. And it's worth, let's say, 15 to 20 grand because it's in the MLS listing. I already checked it out. I know where it is. And these are the advantages that you have. And those same advantages still exist, but you have to do work. You have to actually go there. Don't listen to any realtor tell you this is what it is. You go there and look at the land. Don't do that. In that infomercial interruption that I sent you, the commercial within the infomercial, the ladies at the end that had two blonde, they were blondies, and they were all giddy because they were giddy the whole time. While I'm sitting there in the chair doing the interview, they're sitting by the pillar, and they're just like, "Oh, I can't believe I bought this. Oh, this is awesome." And I actually went up to them and said, "Hey, did you go check out the property?" You know what they said? No. I was like, "What do you mean?" She says, "No, we didn't go out there and check out anything. It was just in this, I think it was like Riverside County, and Riverside County is growing at the time." And she goes, "No, we just wanted to buy because it was in Riverside County. It's growing out there. They're going to be building stuff and da 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 da." I said, "You're right. But do you know what you bought?" Because they have rolling hills. They have little tributaries with water, all kind of stuff in Riverside County. It's not just flat for like 10 miles. It's none of that. You got all kind of, if it rains, you have washes, all kind of things that you have to pay attention to if you're going to buy out what I would call desert type land. A little 2 inches of rain, you have a river running through your backyard or through your house. If you decide to put something on there or try to. So this is why I was shocked that, and even after I would tell everybody, go out there, please check with the builders and not builders, but the city, make sure it's zoned for what you think you can zone it for and use it for. All these little things of advice comes in my head while I'm talking to people and finding out. The more people I talked to, the more people I found that did no research whatsoever. They were just buying sight unseen, buying just because it was land, because they believe they don't make more land anymore. So buy that little nonsense. You just don't buy anything. So if you're going to go and partake in what I just talked about for the last 30 minutes, it's still doable to this day. In some states, you can't do double closings. I just found out in California that they did not restrict. In some states, you actually have to buy it. So if you bought something for $9,000 and you can sell it for 35, okay, that's good. But if your double closing might require you to get the deed in your name, that's not a true double closing, because now you're going to have to pay the $9,000 before you can actually get it deeded to the other person. In California, you can still have a contract for the property, just like a contract on a house. Same thing, contract on a house, and then somebody wants to come buy your house. Your house has a loan on it. That's in essence a double closing. In reality, that's all it is. It's similar to that, except there's another person. So instead of it being direct where you're the owner of the house and you're selling it to a buyer, what's happening is you're the middle guy, but you're still selling it to a buyer. That's all. You have control of it because you have a contract, and that person's buying for what your price is because it's worth more. And so in the title agency, the new thing in California, which now I'm going to be going back to doing this, quite frankly, I'm going to look at some of these things and see if I can do some arbitrage, because it's very lucrative, because people don't go check out properties. It's crazy. So now, just so everybody understands, they will do, I call it double closing. They call it double something else. But anyhow, the bottom line of the story is the same. I buy something for $6,000. If I find out it's worth 25,000 to 30,000, that's perfect for me. Because if somebody offers me 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, I'm still like, am I going to make $6,000, $7,000, $8,000? Why am I going to haggle? What am I going to do? But the point is, I have a buyer who wants to buy. On the hook. in the same, within a month, within a week is what I used to do, because I used to put stuff on eBay. And within a week, I would have somebody committed to buying it, sending me the money within 8 to 9 days, on PayPal if it had to be, everything. So in less than 9 days, before they can even put ink on the paper, and then I have an advantage. You know why? Because when I did the deal with them and I sold it the same day or 7 days later, how long does escrow take? 30 days, right? So imagine, or 60 or 90, it's up to whatever deal, but let's just say it's 30 days. I've already sold it. Day 10, I have money for the sale. Guess what happens at day 10 with the deed, the transfer from land auction, which was called NRLL? What is it, NRLL to me? It hasn't even hit the title company to transfer yet, because they're waiting for another 2 to 3 weeks. So what do? I call up landauction.com. I say, hey, you can put so-and-so's name on the deed. I don't want my name on the deed. That's simple. Because I've already sent them money. I wired them money. The day I got money, I wired it to them. So they already have the money because they're in California at the time. And so now we're talking on the phone. They have their money. So they're like, well, then we'll just put it in his name. Exactly. That's what it actually went down to, because when I was VIP, that's what they did. Other times, because it was actually in their name, then I had to do it the other way I told you about. I would have to do a double closing. I would sell it on eBay. I would have some guy like at Shelter Cove, 25 grand, because it's in the sewer section. It's worth like 35 grand. I bought it for 3 grand. So now I call up Fidelity at Eureka and I say, hey, I need to do a double closing. And then I call up NRLL and say, hey, I'm going to transfer it to somebody else. So they would do a double. It doesn't cost any extra, $1,000 escrow or whatever. Between the two, $500 a person or less. And so now they send a money order, cashier's check, wire money directly to the Fidelity escrow. And so there's the 25 grand. They cut NRLL their check for $3,500. They cut me a check, almost 20 G's. And whenever they cut me a check, I used to go there. So I would drive 3-4 hours. It's a tax write-off for me. I drive 3-4 hours because I never want to cash a check at my bank. I would go to their bank and cash the check. That's right. That's when they used to cash checks when you weren't a member of the bank that they banked at. 25G check in Eureka, California, and no problems because the person's had the money in their account. Obviously, it's escrow. So I go there. I have 25 G's in my pocket, or 23, whatever it was on that particular one. Less than 2 weeks, I have money already paid off. And if I did the 25,000 deal, the guy didn't send me 25 grand because he didn't feel comfortable sending me that. I want to go through escrow. I said, no problem. So I lose out on $500 to $600. So what? So he sends me down payment that covers me 3-4 grand. So I go send it to them guys. That was other options that happened. Then I send it. Then he opens escrow. I said, we're going to use Fidelity. If it's all right with you, I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me, but I'm using Fidelity up in Eureka. They're like, okay. So they get the wiring instructions. They wire the money. And we're done in 30 days, though, because the escrow company does the double escrow about 30 days. But what the hell? You make 20 G's, 18 G's in 30 days, right? So these are the things you can do. All right. Now I'm going to run out of here. I love you guys very much. Hopefully I see you on Friday night. I'll have more to talk about. But if you need help in any way, make sure you go to findhelp.org. There's a lot of things that can help you, even training for a job, even medical, even transportation, even rent. A lot of things are on there that can help you in your zip code or your area in your city. You put in the zip code, I believe. I don't know if you can put in the city by itself. So make sure you smash the button on the way out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed what we're talking about tonight. And I appreciate you guys very much. Everybody, members of the channel with the icon next to your name. I love all of you, and I appreciate your financial support as well. So make sure whatever you do, there's a lot of people out here with a lot of stress. There are a lot of people that are worried, and rightfully so. And so therefore, you never know what somebody else is thinking or what they're going to do. But just try to keep a level head out here, all right? It's going to be very, very hard as financial stress is real. That's why it's almost the number one thing that breaks up marriages, breaks up friendships over money. So just make sure that you watch your back. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.